Silent.
Wednesday on Charlie and Company, will Christmas Eve become a silent night if the kids leave home?
Hold on there, Junior Grinch.
Hey, Vern, you've got to see my new holiday movie. It's called Ernest Saves Christmas. It's a great movie, Vern, and it's all about how I helped Santa out of this tough jam, and I had to drive the sleigh with all the reindeer. Let's see, there was Donner and Blitzen and Comet and Shorty and Lance and Doc and Sneezy. And Vern, those reindeer made one heck of a mess.
Ernest Saves Christmas, rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspaper for showtime.
Small business, big business, mom, pa, and even kid business. Holiday time. Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
The NEC Pinwriter P6 printer sets new performance standards. It combines high-resolution graphics, letter quality, and 216 characters per second draft capability in a single printer.
Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
Time to go, John.
I hope he knows I really mean it.
For me?
It's a Hallmark.
Wow.
Everyone needs to feel loved at Christmas. Give a Hallmark card and share your love.
John, you know what Christmas is all about.
See what a card can say for you.
This is a Christmas gift I'll keep forever.
See what a Hallmark card can do.
Jody?
Can I have a doll, please, Pepsi Snowman? And the Car City?
Kids.
What on earth?
Should you get the kids for Christmas? Pepsi and Mattel are giving rebates of up to $20 on certain Mattel toys. Jody loved the Golden Dream Barbie doll, and Adam wants Hot Wheels City. And they both want the Children's Discovery System.
Here's to saving this Christmas.
For details, see this Pepsi display at participating stores.
People think I spend a lot on gifts. I don't. I just spend a little in the right place.
At Venture, save 50% plus an extra 10% on 14-karat gold chains and 14-karat gold earrings. Save 50% on 14-karat gold men's and ladies' wedding bands and diamond solitaires at Venture. And these Elgin watches are on sale for only $49.99 through Saturday at Venture.
It's not how much you spend, it's where you spend it. Venture.
Gus, Jack.
What's up, Cinderella?
Surprise.
That's me. That's you. That's Gus. That's us.
When you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates, you'll get something extra. Either a free Gus or Jack, the two adorable mice from Walt Disney's classic movie Cinderella, now playing in theaters everywhere. They make great gift decorations, fun ornaments, and cuddly play pals. You can get either Gus or Jack with a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates.
And happy holidays from Jack from Gus.
All of us at Colony Center would like to thank you for being part of our holiday tradition. For more than 20 years, Colony Center has centered around you and your family. Come, be a part of our holiday shopping tradition. Enjoy the smiles and the spirit of giving at this wonderful time of year. Season's greetings and warmest wishes from your friends at Colony Center.
Join Bob Hope for an American tradition.
I love you.
With season's greetings from Donna Mills, Brooke Shields, Crystal Gale, and the Osmond Kids.
Don't you love fantasies at Christmas time?
Grab Bob Hope's bag full of Christmas cheer. Then it's a holiday celebration as Ed Begley Jr. and Dennis Weaver join Grammy winner Amy Grant, heading home for the holidays. A night of Christmas specials Sunday.
Pizza. Shouldn't it be on your table this Christmas instead of that ugly ham? Look at this. Green. Red. That's Christmas. You hear sleigh bells? I do. I dropped the sleigh bell.
Hi, I'm Mrs. America, and I'm truly proud to represent Barberware and their fine American products. Barberware has been an important part of my family for as long as I can remember. My mama swears by it, and now you can too. Because Barberware will give you this darling little skillet for just hardly anything when you buy just a few other little old things. Now, Isn't that something?
Watch the incredible new magic from Kodak. Kodamatic trim print instant color film. You lift the image off the back for a super thin print that captures the color just the way you like it. Now, see how trim print stacks up against ordinary instant print. It's so thin, it's the instant print your photo album's been waiting for. So thin, no ordinary instant print stacks up to trim print. And what a great Christmas gift. Only for Kodamatic instant cameras and only from Kodak.
From a wish to the magic of Santa's little helpers, to a smile and a twinkle in their eye that will appear on Christmas Day when they've discovered what you've discovered at Greasetown Mall. Yes, there's enchantment in the air at Greasetown Mall, whether it's a gift for the man in your life or a gift from your heart to make her heart skip a beat, or toys for good little girls and boys. You'll make that Christmas wish come true. So enjoy the Christmas season and the happiness it brings at Greasetown Mall.
That'll be a charge. We interrupt this purchase for a reminder.
Don't forget, Santa.
'Tis the season to be choosy.
La 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 la.
So choose the card that actually pays you cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
That's a great idea.
You sure know how to pick them. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
Starting Sunday, our holiday insert can save you money at Pathmark. So bring it in and get more coupon value for your holidays. Like a 5-pound bag of U.S. #1 Eastern potatoes, free when you purchase any beef veal or pork roast or leg of lamb. Scott paper towels, 2 rolls for just $1. And Coke, Diet Coke or Sprite, a 2-liter bottle is only 79 cents. At Pathmark, where you get more value for your dollar 24 hours a day.
Holidays, holidays.
During Sears 2-day holiday kickoff, doors open early at 8 a.m. with exciting values and gift ideas throughout the entire store. Something special like this touch control Kenmore microwave for fast cooking, now only $149.99. Or the Hamilton Beach ME food processor, compact, powerful, and versatile. Our lowest price of the year, only $29.99. Hurry, on sale now.
There's more for your life.
Opens at 8 a.m.
At Sears.
Next week on Disney.
There's no business like snow business.
Celebrate Christmas Eve with the Muppets.
Okay.
And all their friends.
Your Fraggles.
I'll say.
It's a Sesame Street gang.
It's a Muppet family Christmas.
Milk-Bone dog biscuits, dog treats and flavor snacks. Merry Christmas, pal.
This is the American Express gift check. It lets anyone you want buy anything they want for the holidays. So wherever they live, most anywhere they shop, they can get whatever they want. The American Express gift check not only has its own card, it comes gift wrapped. And if it's lost or stolen, it's even refundable. The American Express gift check, the perfect gift for the holidays.
It's Red Lobster's new seafood trios.
1, 2, 3 seafood favorites on one dish. 3 different tastes, each one delicious.
7 all-new seafood trios starting at $6.95 at Red Lobster.
Good things come in threes.
Red Lobster presents The Platters.
Oh yes, it's the holiday season.
A medley of party platters to go.
Heavenly taste of shrimp and crab claws. It's party time.
Call Red Lobster for party platters to go.
Hey, guess what I'm getting Mom for Christmas? Oh, another Ferrari. Better than that. The top-rated Magnavox compact disc player. In fact, everyone on my list is getting a Magnavox. How about Sarah? Portable CD. Grandpa. 52-inch TV. Nancy. Lightweight camcorder. Oh, smart, Tom. Very smart. Yeah. Boy, are they going to be surprised? Not anymore. You just told everybody they're getting a Magnavox for Christmas. But they don't know when. They don't know when.
FBI statistics state 1 out of every 4 homes is likely to be burglarized during the next 10 years. Burglaries increased dramatically during the December holidays. Let RCI Security put a UL-listed alarm in your home or apartment from $395 installed. No payments until March or 0% interest for 12 months. RCI can then monitor your home 24 hours a day, dispatching help the moment it's needed.
Security for the family. What a great Christmas gift.
Call RCI now, 799-7900, 799-7900.
'Tis the season of Christmas, the time when you wish all of Santa's helpers shop Pearson's Luggage and Gifts. For Christmas ideas and presents for all, shop Pearson's Luggage and Gifts, Acadiana Mall, where you'll always find the unusual.
This Christmas, I got something special for the people who helped me get where I am. Mom and Dad. Buying diamond jewelry was new to me, so I went to Zales. They're diamond experts, with everything for Christmas, from rings to watches to pendants, all backed by Zales' 90-day refund policy. Mom and Dad will say I gave them too much, but nothing could compare to what they've given me.
Zales, the diamond store, is all you need to know for Christmas.
Did you know that reading to your children actually helps them become better readers and helps them succeed in school? And by encouraging your child to read to you, you make reading a fun family activity. It's one of the most important things you can do as a parent for your child. I love reading to my children, Jamie, Lindsay, and Sarah, and now having Jamie and Lindsay read to me. It's a special time for all of us. This holiday season, give your child a gift that will last a lifetime. Read to them.
Why lug out the big vac? For quick pickups, you need the cordless, easy-to-use Dustbuster Power Brush from Black & Decker. Its powerful rotating brush will cut vacuuming down to size. The Dustbuster Power Brush for the holidays.
We invite you and your family to enjoy this Kraft TV special, featuring our TV special recipes and fine products. Kraft Real Mayonnaise, Kraft 100% natural cheddar cheese, and Philadelphia brand cream cheese.
A gift from Activision is a gift of pure imagination. Give Pitfall, the wild jungle adventure game that made Pitfall Harry famous all over the world. Or set them loose with Keystone Capers, that nightcap chase of cops and robbers. A game so funny, it's a crime. This Christmas, don't just give them games, give them the ones they really want. Activision video games, for more fun than you ever imagined.
I may live through 2023. I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on. You are a cunt. Man or woman, you are a cunt. A C-U-N-T Watt. Cunts. I happen to love the word.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what?
Adults.
What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality. Kareniak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said, and I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That is
and
the
getting her
best
done
shit fucking
and, shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with the
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had, man. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! Man, that is not a I'm excited. Woo! That is I am pissed. Woo! That's what that is. Woo! Man, what in the fuck was that? What in the shit was that? Dude, hold on, man. I need I need somebody to validate. I need somebody to validate my feelings here.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that, Private Pie?
Oh man, I'm trying to like keep this light, bro, but it's probably not gonna happen. Listen, it's probably not gonna fucking happen. All right, because it's kind of like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. You know what I mean? It's like the adult equivalent to finding out that Santa Claus isn't real. I mean, how many times have I fucking vouched for this dude? How much did I talk this guy up last night? How much did I fucking say to everybody, please don't misunderstand him. He's coming from a certain place. I get where he's coming from. Blah, 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 blah. I absolutely defended this guy. I never once have ever said anything negative about police off the cuff. Never once, until I will tonight, but never once before. And I go in that chat and I realize there's a lot of people that were in my chat last night who were there yesterday because I sent them there. I sent them there to support, not to start shit, not to give anybody any shit, not to take cheap jabs at anybody. First of all, now that's not on me if it did happen, because I didn't know that he was going to have fucking Coffindoffer on there. I probably should have, but I didn't know that he was going to have Coffindoffer on there. And you're right, Meredith Fagan. Nobody did. Some of you guys were just a little disappointed to see Coffindoffer in there, and rightfully so. Glamour Suze, welcome to Logic. I appreciate you. And no, you guys were awesome. You guys were all super, super kind. Except for, the clear disappointment with based on your history. This is fair. You have a history with Coffindoffer, and you have a right to express your feelings respectfully, which is what most of you did, respectfully, about Jennifer Coffindoffer being in the chat, or being on the panel, excuse me. And yeah, no, Christine Eileen, I heard, but here, I'm going to get my petty shit out of the way real quick. I mean, a lot of this is going to be kind of petty, but I'm going to get my petty shit out of the way, the main petty shit, which is in my community post that I expressed very vividly. I get into that chat and I realize that the very people that I sent over there, who I saw in Young Jerk's chat tonight, and I see in many other chats, I see in Turtle Boy's chats, and these are people who I have grown a rapport with, who we always say hi to each other, and I'm saying hi to people, and I'm not getting any response back, and I'm wondering what's going on. I'm saying hi, and nobody's saying shit back to me, and I'm like, all of a sudden, did everyone get sick of me all of a sudden? Is everybody not like me all of a sudden? And I thought, and then I realized that before the live stream even started, that my channel, this channel that you're watching me on, was hidden from that chat. I don't know why. I know Dawn Marie didn't do it. Me and Dawn Marie, we've always been very respectful towards each other. Normally, I see Dawn Marie modding for Duty Ron's chat. I have a lot of respect, still have a lot of respect for Duty Ron. And I realize that Duty Ron and Police Off the Cuff are friends, and he's probably not going to like me very much after this stream, and that's fine. But I am not going to compromise my own convictions because I want to appease to other creators who I like and respect. I'm just not going to do that. It's not in my fucking DNA to do that. So, respectfully, sorry, Duty Ron, but I'm about to trash your boy because he acted like a fucking simp tonight. And I saw the true colors of Police Off the Cuff tonight. I saw the true colors of Bill Cannon of Police Off the Cuff tonight. And it was extremely disappointing. It almost made me sick to my stomach, if I'm being honest. And this is what bugs me. Listen, y'all ain't going to take jabs at Duty Ron until you have reason to take jabs at Duty Ron on this channel. So stop. I ain't timing you out for it, but I am removing the comments. You're not going to shit talk Duty Ron in here. Duty Ron and me are cool as far as I know. We may not be after tonight. Fair enough, but it is what it is. Now, Yeah, I mean, it was completely biased. It was unbelievably biased. Yeah, no, I agree. There should always be two sides to the story. Now I realize I saw Turtle Boy. He was in the chat and he was pissed, and rightfully so. A lot of people are gonna just. I mean, I know Bill, being the fucking, sharp investigator that he is, clearly he's gonna jump to the fucking conclusion that Turtle Boy is just a YouTuber, a YouTuber, a guy who just goes on YouTube and just makes a lot of noise and turns a town against each other, according to him. But we know that that's not true, because the fact is the way that I saw Turtle Boy, the way that most of you, I would imagine, saw Turtle Boy being in that chat and so showing his frustration in that chat, was he was seeing a lot of biased bullshit going on, a lot of simping and ass kissing going on. And it's an insult to somebody like Turtle Boy, who is an award-winning journalist who did a lot of investigating, and being minimized, and him saying, let me up there. I can provide you with the right information. Now, I knew Bill wasn't going to do that. Bill's the kind of creator. A lot of these creators are. Most creators are like this. Most creators, I'm not. But most creators are organized in the sense that they have a live stream planned. They have planned paneled guests. They're not just going to open up their panel and let somebody up there. So I knew that Turtle Boy was dreaming if he thought that Bill was going to just let him up there and start an argument with Jennifer Coffindoffer. That wasn't going to fucking happen. But I was still trying to be reasonable. I went on with my alt channel, not a troll channel. It's the same. It's by the same name as this one, except without the. It just says Glarer. And I went in there with that one, and then sure, of course, everyone said hi, hey Glarer, and everybody was just very welcoming towards me there. And then I made a comment at one point. I made a very simple comment saying I would be happy to provide you with a very organized spreadsheet with all of the documentation needed so that you can see the other side of this, or make your own conclusion, with a little smiley face. I wasn't being sarcastic. And then I got timed out. I know it wasn't Dawn Marie that timed me out, and she was the only mod in that chat. But I know it wasn't Dawn Marie that timed me out. And so now I'm not gonna, I mean, I see you're saying, Erica, you're saying censorship. Fair. Okay, cool. But the thing is I mean, every creator has a right to handle their channel and their chat however they see fit. I'm not going to criticize a channel necessarily for that. Sometimes I will. But the way I was treated personally, I took offense to, seeing as I have done nothing but promote this channel. And dude, Bill, even though you had fucking Jennifer Coffindoffer on your panel, you wouldn't have gotten half the views that you had on that live stream tonight had I not sent over the very people that were over there who you decided to insult, who you decided to minimize and insult. Thanks to me, because I brought them over there. I brought them over there hoping, counting on you to provide a logical, unbiased perspective on a case, having done the deep dive that you said you were going to do, which you clearly didn't fucking do, Mr. Investigator of 20-some fucking years. But you didn't do that, did you? Even though that information is readily available. Because this guy who could probably, with his education, only get a job at Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, that's probably facts. But I still have enough fucking common sense in my little Piggly Wiggly brain to fucking do simple research and look at the evidence involving a case that I'm going to cover. And you, as an experienced investigator, don't even have the fucking initiative to do that yourself. What I saw tonight was nothing but a cash grab. You thought you were going to get a bunch of fucking viewers to watch your channel because you know that there's a lot of controversy, and what you did was you attempted to exploit that controversy. And I saw right through it. You attempted to exploit that controversy. You sat there and you said, oh my God, this town is torn apart. And Turtle Boy is tearing this town apart. Acting like you're here for the people, and it breaks your heart to see this town so torn apart. And you didn't even have the decency. Not only did you not have the decency to listen to those very people who graced you with their presence in your chat and gave you views, not only did you fail to listen to them, you decided to insult them. Tabloid cop. Well said. Fucking tabloid cop. No, I will not show you respect any longer. I saw every reason to not show you any fucking respect ever again. I was beyond disgusted with what I saw tonight. Beyond fucking disgusted. Dude, I mean, because what's most insulting, it wasn't the Piggly Wiggly comment that was the most insulting. It wasn't the what else did you fucking say? The toxic people, calling them toxic. That was the most insulting. What was the most insulting is that you treated them like they were fucking idiots. These people are not idiots. These are hardworking people with hardworking jobs. Then I'm grateful to you guys for being here late, because I realize that a lot of you have to go to work tomorrow. And I know it's late, and I did not plan on doing this live tonight. I sure as shit did not plan on doing this live tonight. And no, you are not idiots, Erica. You are not. The people, Bill, that you insulted tonight are people who reviewed evidence. What you failed to do, what the idiot that you had, the two idiots that you had on panel with you, failed to do. Or chose to do and chose to ignore in the process because it didn't fit their narrative. Since when is someone guilty before being proven innocent? Why? Because she's accused of killing a cop? All the more reason why you should be seeking the proper justice, why you should have been unbiased. All the more reason why you should have been unbiased and reviewed the evidence and reviewed receipts, reviewed documents. You didn't do a deep dive. You had a private conversation with your buddy, Jennifer Coffindoffer, behind the scenes, took her word for it, saw a cash grab because she's a personality on News Nation and on Court TV, and you saw an opportunity to get views because she was on there. That's it. That's all you saw. Money, money, money. All you saw. You didn't see shit but that. You saw nothing but a fucking cash grab.
Money, 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 money.
And it was gross. It was fucking gross. People, what are those two words? What are those two words? Say them in my chat, y'all. Yeah, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm doing it. So I hope you guys are comfortable. let's see if this guy tries to fucking strike me, because you can't.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon,
a fucking sergeant,
veteran of the.
A fucking sergeant. See, this is what pisses me off, is when I see shit like that, when I hear shit like that, I can't help but think how little justice was done based on this guy's lack of any type of what's the word I'm looking for? Incentive, with any type of drive to get to the truth. How many people have been wrongfully arrested? That's what I want to know, under his watch. How many people were wrongfully convicted under his watch? How many people, how many families of victims didn't get justice under his watch? That's what I want to know. Mr. I demand respect because I was an investigator for over 20, blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. What I care about is what you show us. You have a YouTube channel. You want to bring insight to cases that everyone's talking about it. Well, then bring the fucking insight.
The NYPD. We've covered the John O'Keefe homicide and, of course, Karen Reed. And we're going to discuss that tonight. And we have a special guest tonight, and I'll introduce her later on. But one of the things that we want to all realize in cases like these,
I got to speed this
the most
asshole
important
up, 'cause I
thing
can't even...
to follow is the evidence and the logical course of the evidence, and not to get thrown off by.
Oh, I love that. I adore that for you, bro. That is fucking adorable. That is just so fucking sweet that you just said that. Let's hear that one more time.
Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. We've covered the John O'Keefe homicide and, of course, Karen Reed.
Have you, though?
We're going to discuss that tonight, and we have a special guest tonight, and I'll introduce her later on. But one of the things that we want to all realize in cases like these, the most important thing to follow is the evidence.
The evidence.
And the logical course of the evidence, and not to get thrown off by
the evidence that you clearly haven't even fucking looked at, because I venture to say that if you actually did look at that evidence, that speaks volumes to me about you as an investigator. Because had you looked at the fucking evidence and you still drew the same conclusion that you did tonight, the way that you did tonight, I pray for those families who it was you who was tasked with the responsibility of getting them justice. I pray for those families. If those are your investigative skills, that's what I want to know.
By hysteria, and not to get thrown off by things that perhaps aren't true. And we understand that this case has been questioned by many people. In fact, they've brought the FBI in. And, I say to that, good. Let's make sure that these allegations against law enforcement are not true. And to tell you the truth, I think they're probably not. But let's bring the FBI in. And I'm sure the district attorney doesn't like it. But you know something? When you have a heavy case like this and lives are at stake, I think it's a good idea to bring in the FBI when there is.
See, statements like that piss me off that much more. He knows how important it is to get to the truth. He fucking knows how important it is to get to the truth. He's explaining, he's expressing how important it is to get to the truth and what you need to do to get to it. And yet he did absolutely none of that in this case.
This specter of impartiality, and the FBI can make sure through their investigation. And if people aren't satisfied with their investigation, then guess what? They're not going to be satisfied with anything. So folks, hang on to your hats. You're about to enter the police off the cuff zone. So we'll see you in a minute or two.
Tonight.
Joining me tonight to make sense of this, if that's a possibility, or at least to present our perspective, our point of view on this from a police perspective. Joining me tonight is retired NYPD Sergeant, Professor of Criminal Justice at Albertus Magnus College in Connecticut, law degree, and just all-around good guy. We'll call him Professor Mike Geary. Sometimes we call him Father Mike Geary. He's so priestly. Welcome to the show tonight, Mike.
Billy, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure. And we have a special treat tonight. We have retired FBI agent and a consultant to actually a contributor to News Nation, and she's also on lots of other channels. Welcome to the show, Jennifer Koffendorfer.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
You know, Jennifer,
like, it was funny because I didn't even realize she was in there because I got in here just a little bit later than what we're looking at here. And I'm looking, I see the chat go, I saw somebody go, Koffendorfer, I'm out. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I didn't realize, because I didn't know he was going to bring her on there. I didn't realize she was on there. And there was something up there that was blocking who was on panel. I couldn't see. He was blocking it. And they were like, Koffendorfer, I'm out. Well, Triffy, here's the thing, is he never had any fucking allegiance to me in any way, shape, or form. He's never promoted me. He's never nothing. But I mean, it doesn't explain why I was hidden from his channel. I was hidden from his channel for God knows what fucking reason before the shit even started. Probably because he saw my live stream last night and took it the wrong way. Probably because he had a fucking agenda to begin with, as far as this live stream is concerned. Probably when that 2 day gap between the stream that I reviewed yesterday taking place and the stream that took place tonight took place, when we thought that was him doing a deep dive into the case before he went live again to talk about it. No, I'm drawing the conclusion. My instincts, not as an investigator, but my instincts tell me that it was the time that Jennifer Assendorfer decided to agree to be on his panel. I'm busy this time I can do it Wednesday late night. I can do it Sunday at 10 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's what time I can do it. So, yeah. And he was just sitting around fucking doing whatever the fuck he does. And just to bring her on and thinking that he's got an expert on, and he doesn't have to do any investigating himself. He doesn't have to do any research himself. He could just have this fucking twat muffin on his fucking channel, and she comes off as an expert in the case. That's all he needs to know. Just the one side. Right. Okay.
Jennifer, I always notice Cuomo calls you Koffendorfer. I'm like, where did you get that from? Is that what you taught him? Or I think I'll pronounce it my own way.
How you pronounce her name.
Okay, so I have to tell you, that's actually how it's pronounced, is Koffendorfer. But so many people say Doffer that it's just kind of stuck. And he might be the only one that actually says it right, but I could care less what everyone calls me, as long as it's not a real bad.
How about Kuntendorfer? How's that?
Bad name.
You accept the incorrect pronunciations.
Absolutely.
All right, great. So this case obviously it's almost 2 years, January 29th, 2022. So it's coming on 2 years, and it's going to go to trial. There's been so much emotion in this case, and as I said, what we always want to do in a case like this is to follow the evidence. And there's Karen Reed and of course John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe.
This is where I came in.
Everyone's estimation was a great police officer, and not just that, an outstanding human being. You can't find anyone. I haven't read anything that said was nothing but a great guy. So just to give a little background to the folks that maybe just learned.
Calamity Jade, thank you so much. Sadly, starting to sour on these retired LE experts. So many ignorant opinions. I cannot stress enough. When I retire, I will not go giving my name that rash prior personal professional opinion. Thank you, Calamity Jade. And I got your Cash App earlier. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Learning about this case. And this is according to CNN. In the pre-dawn hours of January 29, 2022, a man was found dead in a blizzard outside a house in suburban Boston. He was wearing 2 shirts, blue jean socks, and 1 black Nike sneaker. On the blanket of snow near his body were shards of glass and splotches of blood.
I love how this investigator never asks where the other sneaker is. At no point does he ever ask, well, where was the other sneaker? Was it found in her car? No. But he couldn't have been in the house, right? Real smart thinking there. Real smart sleuth in there, Mr. Experienced Sergeant Investigator.
John O'Keefe, and he was a Boston police officer. O'Keefe and his girlfriend of 2 years, Karen Reed, had been on a bar crawl earlier that night. Actually, they were at 2 bars. A bar crawl sounds like that you were, multiple. It was actually 2 bars. CF McCarthy's, and the other one was like Waterfall Bar, right? The Waterfall Bar. Thank you, Jennifer. About 6 hours later, O'Keefe's body was spotted in the front yard of the house covered in snow. But what happened during those 6 hours had sharply divided Canton, a town of 24,000 people about 15 miles southwest of Boston. Residents of the town and neighboring suburbs have spent months debating two potential scenarios. Was O'Keefe beaten inside the house and tossed outside to die in the snow? Or did his girlfriend fatally strike him with her car? Local prosecutors have made their position clear, charging Reed with second-degree murder, vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, and leaving the scene of a collision. She has pleaded not guilty, and a trial is set for March. So that's the brief synopsis of what occurred.
Let me answer Brian Fitz, because right now, and I want to be very clear, right now, when I talk about the John O'Keefe and Karen Reed case, the people who I respect the most in this case are not YouTube creators or even bloggers. They are the people being affected by this. And those are the very people who Bill decided to insult in his own chat. And Brian Fitz is one of these people. So I'm going to indulge his question here. Will, did you talk with Bill? Why did you think he would be good? Because by default, until they give me reason otherwise, I give anybody who served in law enforcement, in the military, I give them respect. By default, automatically, I give them respect. And I don't mind putting my name out there for that. But if you fuck with the fact that I put your name out there and put my name on the line to promote you, well, then you're going to hear from me, which is what I'm doing here tonight. But by default, and I hope that answers your question, Brian Fitz. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Brian Fitz said he respects that. And I appreciate that. And I know that everybody in Canton, most everybody in Canton feels the same way. That's the issue, man. This is what really is so heartbreaking. Is for him to trash and insult these people was heartbreaking. It was fucking heartbreaking.
What occurred. One of the things that that's indisputable is both Reed and Officer John O'Keefe were drinking quite heavily. They were probably both qualified as intoxicated. And I heard something said Karen Reed's blood alcohol level was anywhere between 0.13 and 0.293, that's pretty damn intoxicated.
Lauren MRN, thank you so much. The Glare, thanks for covering the Karen Reed case. And oh yeah, by the way, coffin number sucks. Yeah, speaking facts. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that.
So there's no question about that. And so knowing a little bit about alcohol, we don't all react the same way. We don't respond the same way. We don't see things the same way when we're intoxicated. Jennifer, your thoughts about this?
See,
absolutely.
Just saying words does not make you playing devil's advocate. What makes you playing devil's advocate is going over the actual court documentations and the actual witness statements. And this is the funny thing about that, is all he has to do is look at witness statements. That's the funniest fucking thing. Like that, just the witness statements alone. You could pick two witness statements, and I say two and not one for a good reason. You could take two witness statements, pick two of them out of a fucking hat. Out of all the witness statements taken, pick two of those witness statements out of a fucking hat. And I promise you they'll contradict each other. Doesn't matter which two. They contradict each other. Like, that right there is a drop in the bucket of what would create doubt in a jury. The way that he explains, the things that he explains, and I knew this the other day. I just had faith that this experienced investigator would spend the next 2 days after that last live stream doing research and looking over court documents and looking over witness statements that are publicly available. I counted on that. Because I'm thinking there's no fucking way that an experienced investigator is not going to look at this case and go, fuck, what in the fuck is going on? And now it's too late. Now it's too late. Because this is the kind of guy, his ego, and I know it. I know his fucking ego. I saw it come to fruition at the end of his live stream here. I saw that ego come out. This guy's not going to admit that he was wrong. He's just another coffin doffer. He's not going to admit that he was wrong. He's going to be afraid to look over those documents now. He's going to be afraid to look over the witness statements. He's going to be afraid to do that. He's going to be afraid that he's going to have to face the fact that he was fucking wrong and he made an ass of himself on his own goddamn channel. He'll never do it. Guaranteed. He'll never do it. And if he does, he's going to double down. Because to him, it's more valuable to keep this little cash cow right here on the bottom of your screen here, this little cash cow right here, available to join his panel because it generates views for him, because she's on News Nation and because she's on Court TV as an expert. So God forbid he crosses her. But see, that's what's so fucking sad, man. That's what's so sad is in the grand scheme of things, dude, being an experienced investigator and having the balls to actually fucking look at actual documentation instead of simping for people who you think are going to generate you views to have on your panel, that's going to get you the most views in the long run. That's the YouTube game, dude. I promise. I promise. But that's his ticket into having a little guest spot on Court TV and having his own little guest spot on News Nation as a panelist. Because getting on those panels on Court TV or on News Nation is going to promote his YouTube channel. And that's what he's interested in. He's not interested in the truth, and he's not interested in facts. Because if he were, he'd fucking review them that are publicly available.
Absolutely. They took her blood alcohol and it was somewhere between 0.07 and 0.08. And that was after 9 o'clock in the morning. And that is where, the doctors surmised that her blood alcohol level was the figures that you previously named. I think it's very interesting because initially when she first reached out to Jen McCabe, she actually says she doesn't even remember going to 34 Fairview, at all. And then later, the story changes over and over. And I think part of that might be attributed to the alcohol consumption and her lack of knowledge and memory the next morning.
Look, there's no doubt that you can have a blackout from alcohol and totally not remember things. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, Billy, that's one of the issues for her is that she made statements to people, she suggested things, and then later on, as she sobered up after she had fallen asleep for a few hours.
I love how nobody's mentioning here that everybody was drinking. Everybody that was in the house was drinking. They were at the bar, at both the bars, drinking with Karen Reed. Nobody mentions that, They're villainizing Karen Reed saying, oh, well, she was just a sloppy drunk who probably blacked out. But it doesn't occur to anybody that somebody fucking in that house got sloppy drunk, got in a fight with John O'Keefe, shit went too far, and the people in the house, being family and friends, decided to back each other up and cover us up. But no, it's a conspiracy theory and it's too far-fetched, right? Okay. Leah Baker, thank you so much. You had good intentions. This guy just needed to read court documents, maybe 2 hours. Right. I mean, right. Like, and Glamasuz, thank you so much. Trauma affects your memory. Anyone who has been through it knows. Sure. Absolutely. It absolutely does.
Sobered up, went back and started doing a search. She still was suffering the effects of the alcohol, but she was a lot less impaired, and perhaps she was had a little bit more control of her faculties. But yeah, there it is. You've seen this as a police officer. I've seen this as a police officer. People can't even remember what they did. They're arrested. They're in central booking, and they don't really have any recollection of what they did. And you tell them, and they're going to deny it. And it's a shame, but there's this huge hole of a few hours where she doesn't really have anything constructive to add to accurately portray what actually happened.
No, absolutely.
I love that fucking statement. Because I mentioned in the chat, this was, I think, before I realized that I was hidden. What do you think took place? What are you implying took place in those few hours? What, like this guy's a professor of what? Professor of what? Because I'm dying to know. What are you implying, Mr. Professor, took place in the time that in those few hours that are unaccounted for, that she like went over there and just ran this guy over, ran over this police officer over and over and over again over a span of a few hours, went, disposed of his body, decided that she didn't like the spot, brought him back, and then put him. I'm just trying to fill up hours here in my mind here. I'm trying to fill up hours using your logic. That's all I'm trying to do here. Did she go and dispose of his body and then bring his body back and then put it in the front of the property of 34 Fairview? Is that what happened, Mr. Professor? What are you implying took place in these few hours? Of course, this doesn't come into the investigator's mind. He doesn't ask those questions because, he's just worried about the numbers that are coming in. He's just worried about the numbers that are coming in because he has this all-star panel, supposedly.
Money, 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 money. Absolutely. And I want to read also what CNN says. This is what they said Karen Reed says happened that night. In court documents and in media interviews, she said that she and O'Keefe went to 2 Canton bars that night. They mingled with friends, drinking beers and vodka sodas before going to the home on Fairview Road. Reed said she dropped off O'Keefe outside the house, then returned to his place because she wasn't feeling well. She called and texted him throughout the night, she said, but there was no response. About 4:30 a.m., Reed woke up screaming when she realized O'Keefe had not come home, court documents said. She called 2 female friends, including Jennifer McCabe, who had been drinking with her that night. Together, the 3 women drove through the streets of Canton in near whiteout conditions, looking for O'Keefe and calling his name. As the 3 women approached Fairview Road, Reed said she caught a glimpse of O'Keefe lying on his back in the yard. McCabe told authorities that Reed jumped out of the car in a panic and performed CPR on him, but he was not responsive. The women called 911. It was so dark, officers who responded to the scene said they needed to use a spotlight attached to a police cruiser to find the women. A medical examiner later determined that O'Keefe suffered multiple skull fractures, consistent with blunt force trauma that led to bleeding in the brain.
Multiple
He also
skull
had 2
fractures.
swollen black eyes, several abrasions on his right arm.
Multiple skull fractures. Multiple. Because my man just like he gets hit by a car, right? He gets hit by a car. He must have been hit in the head, right? Because that's what happens. I guess maybe he was bent over, throwing up, maybe, right? I don't know. He gets hit in the head. There's no injuries to the lower part of his body, but multiple skull fractures. So what did he do? What did Karen Reed allegedly do? Did she just run him over? She run over his head 2 or 3 times? Is that what she did with this fallen police officer? I'm curious. What's the reasoning behind the multiple skull fractures from getting hit by a car once? And I guess he was just bent over throwing up. She hit him with the taillight. The taillight that, according to Ryan Nagel, was still intact while she was alone in the car, and he must have either been inside the house or lying dead in the front lawn. Right? Because, explain that one. If you had looked at the fucking witness statements, Mr. Bill, you would have seen that a witness says that the taillights were absolutely intact. There was no visible damage to the car. Even though the rear lights were illuminated, the inside of the car was illuminated, and she was alone in the car. That means that she had to have been on the front lawn. That John O'Keefe had to have been on the front lawn, right? But if that were the case, then why were the lights intact if she broke her tail light hitting him? Riddle me that, Mr. Investigator. That means he must have been in the house, because that's the only place he could have been, right? And why don't you ask your panelist why she said herself on court TV that well after the alleged hit manslaughter took place, or murder, excuse me, well after this supposed murder took place with her car where she broke the taillight, why did your panelist state on court TV just the other day that the taillight was intact? After the fact. She said it herself. This expert that you have on your panel. Okay.
As well as blood around his nose and mouth. Hypothermia was a contributing factor in his death, according to the autopsy. Reed and her legal team, which includes attorneys Alan Jackson and David Yannetti, have said she's been framed to protect the real killers. We know who did it. We know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know. Reed told reporters after court hearing in September, "I tried to save his life. I tried to save his life at 6 a.m. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life." Now, the most important thing evidentiary-wise, Jennifer, right now is...
Yeah, facts. You know how I know that's true? Bill, you know how I know that's true? Because I heard a recording. Yeah, I heard a recording. I heard a recording of Jennifer McCabe calling 911, and Karen Reed was the only one that seemed concerned for him. Yeah, a recording. That's called evidence. You ever heard of it, Mr. Investigator? Ever hear of evidence? It's a word usually thrown around in law enforcement, in investigations. Yeah, it's called evidence. Dickhead.
The defense is coming up with this theory that he was inside the house and he took a beating inside the house, and they dumped his body in the front of the house into the street. That in itself is almost the entire case, because that's their defense. And if it can be proven that he never ever made it into that house, then what kind of case do they have, Jennifer?
Yeah,
well,
let's
let's
do that for a second here. Let's do that for a second here.
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road, Vietnam. There's a man passed out in the snow. Yeah, I don't know why he's dead. I think he's dead. He's so like.
Carrie. That's Karen Reed. That's her voice. The one panicking. You know, the one who didn't give a shit. The murderer.
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road, Vietnam. There's a man passed out in the snow. Yeah, I don't know why he's dead.
A man passed out in the snow.
I think he's dead. He's so
Okay.
like. Okay. I know. Where are the blankets? I don't see blankets, Terry. Yes, I need some.
And I got to point out there, Bill. By the way, the just over 300 people that you had in chat, the just over 300 people that I brought to you, not the people that were there for based on your little attempt to get more views because you had Jennifer fucking Twattendoffer on there. Those people that I brought over to you. Yeah. Funny how this works because you have almost 60,000 subscribers. I have just over 20, and I already have significantly more people in my chat paying attention. Why is that? Do you think it's because you're going about things the right way and you're working the YouTube algorithm in some way? Or do you think it's because people are actually interested in the fucking truth and not a fluff job? Stick with me, dude. I'll help you build your channel. Fucking moron.
John is 46 years old. I don't know. He got out of the car and I couldn't get out. Is he Carrie? Is he? I don't. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Really sounds like Karen Reed was lying when she said that she was the only one trying to save his life. We still got a few more minutes. I'll let you listen. You're welcome, Bill. Here, I'll start it. I'll even start it over. How's that? Just for Bill, in case he's listening. And yes, trigger warning, because we're listening to a woman trying to save the life of her boyfriend. Who is now being accused of murdering him. And real quick, sorry, I got to interrupt because my thoughts come to me and I got to say, I got to say what they are when they come to me. I mean, never mind. Just forget it. Let me just keep going here.
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road, Vietnam. There's a man passed out in the snow. Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say it. Like, how are you going to sit up there on your channel and say things like the court of public opinion, this shouldn't be tried in the court of public opinion and should only be tried in a court of law, when you are clearly someone who has facilitated this being tried in the court of public opinion against Karen Reed? You sat there. I sat there and I fucking went over your live stream and backed you up in saying this, because I agree. This should be tried in a court of law and not in a court of public opinion. And yet you facilitated, you perpetuated this being tried in the court of public opinion by making a woman who has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. And you're perpetuating her guilt. You're perpetuating the narrative of her guilt. And have the nerve, the fucking audacity to sit up here on this platform and say, well, this shouldn't be tried in the court of public opinion. And then you pull this shit and have this fucking drama monger, Jennifer Coffendorfer, on your channel, who does this daily on Twitter. Daily on Twitter. Perpetuating the court of public opinion against Karen Read. But it's okay as long as it fits your narrative, right, Bill? Yeah, let's continue to listen to this murderer trying to save her boyfriend's life, a fallen Boston police officer, one of your brothers in blue.
I think we're dead. So, like, okay, I know. Where are the blankets? I don't see blankets, Terry. Yes, I need some.
I love you, Pearl. I could just see Pearl saying that, by the way. Like, anyone else think that it's kind of poetic that JC physically has such a big head to go along with her metaphorical one? Not to mention those Saver initials. Who says God doesn't have a sense of humor? And I'm doing that out of love, Pearl, because I fucking love you. You're hilarious. Guys, Pearl is part of a channel called The Jerks. Not the Young Jerks, just The Jerks. And she's fucking fantastic. JC is Jennifer Coffendorfer, Brian Fitz. I have a hard time with that too sometimes. I'm like, what?
John is 46 years old. I don't know if he got out of the car and it could be an hour. If he Carrie, I don't know. I know I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know.
Yeah, Eliza, retired, now fucking useless. Yeah. Hey, Bill, you see all these people in my chat right now? Heartbroken over this footage? Hearing this? Does this seem like it's all about Turtle Boy to you? Do these people all sound like their main concern is following Turtle Boy blindly? These are people who are upset about the fact that a police officer died in their community and that he's not getting justice. That's what they're pissed off about. The very people that you insulted. That's what they're angry about. That's what they're heartbroken about. Pay attention.
Well, they don't have a case because the evidence does show he never made it into that house. First of all, the statements of
No, it doesn't. The evidence actually shows that he did make it into the house. The evidence clearly shows that he made it into the house. There's multiple points of evidence that show that he made it into the house. There is the Apple data. There is the statements from witnesses. There's multiple points of evidence.
of Karen Reed, particularly early on, and numerous occasions where she said she dropped him there and she didn't see him go in the house. She later changes that and says she goes he goes into the house. So there's
I guess he went up and down 3 flights of stairs in Karen Reed's SUV. Is that, I mean, she must have a hell of an SUV going up and down 3 flights of stairs. That's interesting.
one set of sort of muddled statements. Then there is the evidence that are from the Ways. And Ways, they had their Ways going when they went there. And the issue is when you look at the information that supposedly he took steps and, was in that house, the problem is it was before he even arrived there. So it's very incongruent to say in terms of the information we have from the GPS that he was ever in that house. And then you add on top of that, the fact that the glass he had held in his hand is actually fragments are embedded in the bumper.
I mean,
or the back.
It's hard not to laugh, dude, because the case against Karen Reed is so fucking ridiculous. It's so unbelievable. Like if this were a movie and like Will Ferrell was cast as Trooper Proctor, dude, we'd be cracking up. We'd be cracking up. Think about that shit. If this were the fucking other guys and this situation was scripted into the other guy's sequel with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell's playing Proctor, we'd be cracking up because it's so fucking ridiculous. What's up, Grandmaster Sid Sophos? Good to see you, buddy.
Bumper part of his quarter panel, I should say, of his vehicle. You have the taillight, small fragments that are in his clothing, and you have the taillight that is actually in the snow where his body is, actually also where his phone was below him. So there's just no evidence that he was ever in that house or drug out of that house. And there's no DNA on his face, on his knuckles, on his body from any of these 10 individuals that supposedly beat the tar out of him.
How many people were actually inside the house?
Okay, now I have this. So I'm pretty sure I have this right now. I will be on David McGrath's channel, Unsafe Spaces, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I believe is what we agreed on. I will be a guest on that channel, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, what you stumbled onto this, what you stumbled on here, David, is a live stream that I never thought I would ever have to do. And I'm pissed off that I have to do it.
Let me start with Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Brian Albert, his wife Nicole Albert, Brian Jr. Albert, which is the whole reason they were there. It was a birthday celebration for him. Caitlin Albert, the daughter, Brian Higgins, who was an ATF agent, who was also there during this event. Sarah, Julie, and Ryan, who were friends of, and I won't get into last names, but who were also friends of Brian. And Colin was there.
Yeah, see, Bill is sitting there basically going, la, 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 all these cops' names. These are all cops, and I can't, there's no way that these people conspired to cover anything up. Nah, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear it. Fuck the evidence. I don't care what the evidence says. These are cops, so there's no way that they could have ever been capable of doing this. Bullshit. Grow up.
Early, but he had to get home because of a curfew. So he departed the house, which is also will be in evidence from not only text messages about to the person coming to pick him up, but the testimony of the person who picked him up, brought him to his parents' house, and then of course his parents and his GPS. So all of that added together, Colin Albert wasn't even there at 24 after the hour when they arrived, which is going to be a problem.
You know, Jennifer, one of the things, and I see a lot of people in the chat talking about, and I discussed this a little bit with Professor Mike before we went on the air, and that's the Apple Watch that allegedly
I love it.
shows him walking up.
I love it. Yes, please continue to confirm the theory that you did absolutely no fucking research other than talking to these people behind the scenes, that these are your sources for information. Please continue to confirm that for us all, Mr. Unbiased and Devil's Advocate investigator. Please. Thank you. We love it.
Whatever it was, 3 flights of stairs. And again, I am not an expert on Apple Watches, and I'm certainly not an expert on cell phones, but I know that the GPS in a cell phone is pretty damn accurate. In fact, when I was on the NYPD, we used to have a unit called TARU, Technical Assistance Response Unit, and they could go right to an apartment and place the phone right in the specific apartment using this device called Triggerfish. I'm sure it's much more up to date now. That was 12 years ago. I'm sure technology has moved even further, and the technology from placing the phone where it actually was. So if the phone was underneath his body, I mean, isn't it going to show that?
Yeah, and that's the trouble. It does. The problem is there's 3 pieces of information here. We have the Apple Watch information. We have the GPS information from the phone.
Could it be that this shit was fucking rehearsed? Could it be that they sat there and fucking conversated and conversed over what was going to be discussed here prior to this live stream? Gee, I wonder what's telling me that. Unfucking real. This is the biggest snow job I've ever fucking seen.
The phone. And then we also have the Waze information on that app. And the issue is that the Apple Watch information, timing wise, shows this, ascending and descending stairs and all these steps as occurring before he even arrives to the house, according to the Waze and the GPS. So
I can't wait until this goes to trial. Like, seriously. Like, I can't wait until this goes to trial. Not only due to the fact that I know that that Karen Reed is going to be acquitted. I'm 150% fucking sure of it, by the way. Not, oh, well, there might be enough to create doubt. And, the defense, they might. No. The defense has proof. Proof that we've all seen that these dickheads refuse to even acknowledge. Now, but besides that, I can't wait for this to go to trial so that these people have to sit there and fucking be force-fed the evidence that absolutely not only creates doubt, but proves that Karen Reed did not do this. I can't fucking wait. Now, again, there might be a smoking gun that the prosecution's sitting on. Who knows? But based on everything that I'm seeing, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
A fundamental gap between what Apple is saying.
And if you're so interested in the truth, why was I hidden? Because if I was never disrespectful to Bill or police off the cuff, and not only not disrespectful, but blowing them up, talking them up, talking about how much I respected the fact that they're former investigators. Why did they hide me? The only logical conclusion would be because I had an opposing opinion. That has to be it. One side of your mouth? Well, I'm looking at this objectively and I'm playing devil's advocate. You bet I am. Right? Isn't that what you said? And then the other side of your mouth, well, anybody who has an opposing view is not allowed in my chat. Anybody who has an opposing view of the narrative that I'm trying to spin, of the narrative of the person on my panel whose ass I am too busy kissing, well, you're not allowed in my chat. But, you know, you bet I'm playing devil's advocate. What a fucking joke.
And what the other instrumentation is saying. And if I've done just very little review, but some review about the Apple Watch information, because I've retired about 7 years ago. And, you know, that was something that just didn't come into play. And
very little review. She admits right there, she's done very little review on it, but she's fucking daily going on fucking Twitter blasting about it. But this is your expert panelist, Bill. Someone who has so much to say about the Apple data on Twitter, yet she's done very little review by her own admission. Done very little review. Looking good, Bill. Looking real good, buddy.
In cases I was on, but they are apparently wrong often in terms of their data, whereas the GPS data and the Waze data is much more accurate.
You know, Jennifer and Mike, I'm going to let you join in here. You know, the court of public opinion is never the court that makes decisions. You know, the court that makes decisions is the Supreme Court, the criminal court that the case gets tried in. And that's.
But you've already decided that Karen Reed is guilty. So explain that to us all, Bill. You've already decided that Karen Reed is guilty. But, you know, the court of public opinion is never what we should go by. Okay.
And that's where both,
because we know that you're not going over evidence, because you haven't said one factual fucking thing since this live stream started. Your panelists haven't said one factual thing since this live stream started. Not one factual thing. But the evidence matters, right? Why not just review the evidence? You have this expert on here, and you're an investigator. Why wouldn't you just look at the evidence if you're going to cover true crime cases or real crime cases? Why wouldn't you review all of the evidence made available to the public? Curious.
Prosecution and the defense will have their experts dissecting all of this information. And if there are errors, and if there are things that the police did wrong and the prosecution did wrong, that'll do what's called, and I love the acronym BARD, beyond a reasonable doubt. They have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And if there are those mistakes, and if there are those glaring errors, and if the evidence points to the fact that Karen Reed, in fact, did not do this, then guess what? She'll be found not guilty. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, Billy, she's got excellent counsel, and they're doing a bang-up job. They're doing the best they can for her, given the fact that, you know, as
Okay, so why aren't you asking the question, and why aren't you showing the people of Canton respect in regards to the fact that they fucked up the entire investigation? Because there's plenty of evidence to dictate this. Forget the evidence that indicates that Karen Reed is innocent, right? Forget that. Let's just forget that for a second. But all of the clear evidence that they fucked up this investigation, why aren't you focused on, since you're so concerned about the memory of John O'Keefe being preserved and being held up high, why aren't you demanding justice for a fallen police officer? Because again, I've made this point many times. I'm going to continue to make it. Even if Karen Reed is guilty, she is never going to be convicted. Therefore, and it's going to be because the investigators fucked up the investigation and cost John O'Keefe and his loved ones justice. So if she actually is guilty, Bill, if she actually is guilty, which you believe she is, you stated clearly at the end of this stream that you believe that she's guilty, who's going to be held accountable? Not the cops. No, never the cops. Never the cops. You know, can't do that. Can't say anything negative about investigators cagging up a murder investigation of a police officer. Can't do that. But Why aren't you facing that one inevitable question? Because that's what these people of Canton and Massachusetts want. They want justice for John O'Keefe. That is what they want.
You know, as Kopfendorfer said, there's a lot of issues with some of the timing of what her statements were, where she was, what she was doing, retracting statements later on, things like that. And with the Apple Watch and the navigation in the phone, it really, I always tell my students whenever we analyze cases and we talk about cases, famous cases from the past, and we talk about cases that are contemporary. And I always say to them, always think, what is the most logical thing that probably happened? The most logical thing that probably will happen is probably what actually did happen. It's nothing like Martians are going to come down and a spaceship. No, nothing. You don't have to go outside the realm of really what's pretty probable. That you can see in everyday life. Use your common sense. What seems to be, given set of facts, the most likely scenario that happened in a homicide case.
I love that. Yeah, use your common sense. Don't look at the documentation. Don't look at the witness statements. Just use your common sense. Use your common sense. How unbelievable is it that there could be a conspiracy amongst cops and soccer moms, as Turtle Boy put it, a conspiracy between cops and soccer moms to frame an innocent woman? Use your common sense. Of course, common sense. Yeah, common sense fucking dictates normally that's just not likely. Of course that's the case. Sure. But that's when people with real common sense, this is where real common sense kicks in. You start to ask questions. People with real common sense start to ask questions. And in asking questions, they start to look at evidence that is made publicly available to everyone that you clearly didn't look at.
That sort of thing. And when we talk about these things, you say, okay, what is the most likely common sense thing? And her, narrative doesn't really quite fit at all with some of the facts that we know. The average common person could say, based just on a few facts, we could kind of see what might have happened, despite what somebody's saying about a conspiracy of 10 or 11 people, men and women together, beating up someone and then having them out in the snow to die. Does that make sense? Or is it something else that may make sense? So she's climbing a very steep uphill, and she's got an amazing amount of public opinion on her side for it. It really is disturbing, but the prosecutor is going to have a jury of 12 people, and she's going to have a jury of 12 people, and they're going to pick them out, and they will be in a courtroom, and they will hear without emotion and without crazy stuff from the media, people interjecting themselves, what actually happened, and hopefully they'll use their common sense and not go down rabbit holes and make up their minds to what really occurred.
You Mike, very well said. I'm going to play a little bit of the defense presenting some of their case in a hearing.
Boston police officer John O'Keefe after a night of heavy drinking. Prosecutors claim Reed backed her car into O'Keefe during a snowstorm and left him to die. But Reed's defense says the Commonwealth has it all wrong.
That's how I see Jennifer Twattendorfer. Like, to me, she is like the true crime equivalent of fucking AOC. That's totally how I see her. Just completely, constantly tweeting and talking out of her ass. Constantly. In a position of some power. She's not really in a position of power, but, having all these people look up to her and look at her and go, oh my God, we love you so much. She's the true crime fucking equivalent to AOC. Constantly talking and tweeting out of her asshole.
With each new piece of evidence that comes in, we're more and more convinced of my client's innocence.
O'Keefe's snow-covered body was found outside the home of another officer in Canton, Massachusetts. According to the prosecution's statement of the case, the couple was invited to the house after the bars in downtown Canton closed. Witnesses told investigators they last saw the couple at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. Others said they saw a black SUV resembling Reed's parked outside the house, but never saw O'Keefe come inside. Reed told investigators that she dropped him off at the after-party and never heard from him again.
She went home to take care of the kids, and then she called him 49 times.
I don't think anybody, this is what's really funny to me. I don't think anybody on Court TV or News Nation has actually looked at all the evidence. I'm calling bullshit on any of them that say that they have. Because either they're completely and totally ignorant to the facts, or they're aware of the facts, but they don't think that it's going to generate enough ratings and enough views. And so they choose to go the route of making Karen Reed seem guilty. I can't wait. I'm telling you, I can't wait to see Coffindoffer's reaction. I can't wait to see Bill's reaction when all of this fucking happens. When all of this comes out in court, I can't wait to see how they address this. My prediction, Bill won't even talk about this fucking case. First day that a defense attorney on Karen Reed's team cross-examines a witness, he's going to be like, not touching this shit. He's going to have to play cleanup, and he's going to do it quick and early so that there's not that much to clean up, and then he's going to move on to some other case. Straight up, Gregor Smith. Totally. You like your crow steamed or baked, Bill? I can't wait. I can't wait. I would never say anything with such confidence unless I was sure. I would never say anything with such confidence unless I was sure.
Times, where are you? Why aren't you back? She was the one to go back to that residence to look for him. She was the one to find him. She was the one to try and keep him warm and give him CPR and try and revive him.
But Norfolk County prosecutors question those actions. They claim voicemails and text messages detail strains in the relationship and the victim's desire to end their relationship, including a voicemail from the night he died in which Reed allegedly told O'Keefe that she hated him. Also, O'Keefe's niece and nephew who lived with him allegedly told police that the couple fought constantly about the relationship and breaking up before his death. Prosecutors
Again, I gotta point this out. I pointed this out last night. Dude, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many times a woman fucking texted me or called me to tell me that she fucking hated me because I was out without her. I can't fucking tell you how many times that's happened. I don't even know. It's that many times. Why is that so hard to believe? Like, why is that so fucking hard to believe? That she was just like, fuck, I hate you. You're out drinking, having a good time. I'm home with your kids, and you're out fucking getting drunk with your homies. What the fuck? Like, I hate you. You're such a piece of shit. I fucking hate you. That's fair. That's fair. It's happened so many times. I couldn't even fucking tell you. But, you know, knocking on wood, by the grace of God, I haven't been murdered yet. Just saying. I haven't been murdered yet.
Prosecutors point to a broken taillight on Reed's SUV, pieces of which were allegedly found near O'Keefe's body, to suggest she ran her car into him. A forensic pathologist opined that significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming
A woman told me she hated me last fucking week. Still here. Knock on wood.
hypothermic. Cuts and bruises were found on O'Keefe's head and arm.
Somebody being hit by a car, I would submit, does not look like they had been punched out by Mike Tyson.
You know, I would just like to make a comment to that. This boy doesn't know what he's talking about. If he's never look, I've seen someone that choked on a piece of meat once, and as it doesn't.
Cuts and bruises were found on O'Keefe's head and arm.
Somebody being hit by a car, I would submit, does not look like they had been punched out by Mike Tyson.
You know, I would just like to make a comment to that. This boy doesn't know what he's talking about. If he's never look, I've seen someone that choked on a piece of meat once, and as you talk about petechial hemorrhages, he had 2 black eyes the next day. So blunt force trauma that causes a brain injury will absolutely cause black eyes and will cause trauma to all your blood vessels in your eyes. So I don't know what this attorney is talking about. He should get a little bit more experience if he's going to talk.
I mean, I don't disagree with him there. I know that pisses some of you guys off because I'm not going to just disagree with the guy for the sake of disagreeing with him. But that's what I've heard many times too. I mean, and that's Karen Reed's attorney's job. That's to add to her defense. I mean, but that's not, I mean, yes, blunt force trauma to the head, I have heard, has been known to cause 2 black eyes. Sure. But explain everything else. I mean, that's one injury. Explain all the other injuries. Explain the scratches on his arm, because we've heard like 3 different explanations from the prosecution about that, haven't we?
About physical injuries. But having said that, let's get to the Lexus, the vehicle she was driving. Now, that has a very sophisticated computer system in it. And won't the computer system in it show that she was going in reverse at a certain speed at a certain time? I don't know if it has, well, the backup camera doesn't record, but won't it show that? And then that can show that she did, in fact, hit someone at a certain location at a certain time. Jennifer,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to show the speed. It's going to show any impacts. And really, I think this is going to be the smoking black box, if you will, of the case. I think that the Commonwealth, we haven't seen a lot of evidence regarding all that's going to show.
That's the big smoking gun, the one that I've been saying that might come out in trial. That's what you think is going to be the big smoking gun. If that's the case, Karen Reed is as good as free. Is that supposed to be fucking funny? You know how many people have actually fucking tested this whole backing up at that speed? Like disproven that? I mean, a juror could get in their own car and do it. That's your big smoking black box, right?
Show. But I think it's going to be very damning.
You know, Jennifer, I want to show something, and obviously I want to show this because this is fair. And this disturbed me a bit too. And these injuries to his right arm. And the defense, of course, says that this proves he was inside that house. I think they had a dog, a German Shepherd, perhaps. And this shows that the dog attacked him. Those clearly are not blunt force trauma injuries. Those are the marks of a dog.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
John O'Keefe. Your thoughts?
Well, there's a few issues here. First of all, a medical examiner has examined the actual body of John O'Keefe, and not only one, but a secondary one. And they have determined that it was caused by a blunt object, not that it was from teeth or, and as you can see, there's no, this dog, if it would have been a dog, doesn't have any.
Okay. So she just fucking said that the medical examiner has determined that those injuries were done by blunt force trauma. You just said that shit out loud on the internet. That is forever, Jennifer Coffindoffer. You just said that out loud, that those injuries right there, we're supposed to believe that are done by blunt force trauma. No bruising around the scratches, just the scratches. But that's blunt force trauma. Really? And Bill said nothing to dispute this. Bill, the experienced investigator, at no point does he go, wait a minute, wait, how is that blunt force trauma? I mean, are you looking at the same picture I'm looking at? How is that blunt force trauma? Okay. But, you know, there's no conspiracy. There's no, there's no cover up here. Right.
Have any teeth on the other side. Or if they're saying this is scratches, but the big issue is going to be is they sent the information they had, the material they had, to have it analyzed for non-human DNA, and that.
Thank you, Grandmaster Sophos. Appreciate it. At least the women of North London would lock you up in a designer Gucci or Versace suit. Yeah, good point. Thanks, buddy.
My understanding has come back negative. So this argument is going to not hold any water. And again, you're looking at a photo that was actually leaked to the press. And, people are making.
I love that. Somebody who has actually attended as an expert witness trials. As a former FBI agent, she's attended trials as an expert witness. And she thinks that a jury of 12 people with common sense, after being carefully selected by both sides, are going to believe that those injuries came from blunt force trauma. They're just going to swallow that shit. That's what she thinks. That's a lock because their expert said so. Get real, lady. Are you kidding me? There's no fuck. I mean, This is what I'm talking about. Why do you think these people in Canton and all over Massachusetts are so fucking mad? Because you're talking like they're idiots. You're saying things as if these people are fucking dumb and don't have eyes.
Medical analysis from a photo, and they're just mistaken.
Well, the other thing is, of course, the broken tail light, and this is causing huge arguments over, was it at the scene where he was it the broken tail light there? How about the broken glass that he was carrying out of the bar? Was that on the scene also?
Yes, that was on the scene also, and there were actually some fragments, if you will, that were in the quarter panel, and that's a lot to get past that. And then, as you mentioned, the tail light that's on scene there. There was that footage from about 5:08 in the morning, I believe, if I recall correctly, where Karen goes to Jen McCabe's house. And in that footage, she bumps barely the vehicle of John O'Keefe. But you can see there that the snow, everything on John O'Keefe's car is intact, that there's no change to the taillight, that there's no fragments, there's nothing that broke there on scene. And so it is believed, of course, that it happened.
You said yourself that her car, on court TV, you said yourself that her taillight was intact.
She hit John O'Keefe.
Right. I want to play that video just so no one's going to accuse us of hiding anything here. Hang on, let me just find.
You're hiding everything.
But this was, of course, later. I believe later in the early morning hours, and folks had said that this shows that. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen. This shows that the taillight was intact. Let's see.
So she's pulling out in the black SUV, and that's the victim's SUV parked. And the defense says that she makes contact, hits the victim's SUV right there, damaging that back right passenger side taillight. And they also claim you can see, the victim's SUV move, indicating that there was a collision. And then as she pulls away, they say that you can tell there's missing parts of the taillight.
Right, but it would have been missing if it was a result of striking Officer O'Keefe at that time. Also, here's a closer look at it. Once again, as we're backing up here, keep your eye and see if you see any movement here from the other car.
She totally hit that car.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
Prosecution doesn't say there's contact.
If the whole case was, how did the tail light get broken? You've got reasonable doubt right there.
Yes.
You've got reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Right there. You can't tell, but it's very reasonable.
Yeah.
That at that point you could have broken that tail light.
Now, one of the problems is, from an evidentiary standpoint, is that there's no pieces of the tail light at this level.
What else do you want? And she said herself that the tail light was still intact. So what else do you want? How can all of these experienced investigators be collectively so fucking stupid?
This location, Mike.
Yeah, Billy, that's one of the problems is the taillight pieces are at the where the body is, and also the drink that he had in his hand was broken too. And and I'm thinking from my point of view,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know Coffendorfer said that the taillight was intact in the video, but what I'm saying is, and I'm agreeing with Tom CPU here, is how can you question that if the tail light is broken? How can you question? Like, that is specifically, you see on camera that light hitting his car, and you're sitting here and you're saying, oh, well, but fragments of the taillight were found underneath him. Yeah, because they were fucking planted. Like, are you kidding right now with this? Oh, she totally did it. What? Like, right there, you just saw evidence of how the tail light could have been broken. Right. And they don't shatter like glass. Exactly. Unreal, dude.
The 3-point U-turn, which meant she backed up like maybe twice, she may have hit him in his chest, and he fell down, and she may have backed over him, and he hit his head, and the defensive wounds on his arms may have been from his hand going underneath the bumper, hitting metal, getting scratched. It was probably, something like, I'm getting run over, being conscious of what was going on, not being able to do anything about it. So I remember getting a broken nose, and as you said before earlier, you can get bruising around your eyes. So there's many injuries where you could get bruising around the eyes, other than a couple of punches in the face. So given what I see from the
Yeah, bro. Yeah, really? Tell me, since you all are all about what the medical examiner said, is there anything that the medical examiner said about a broken nose? Is that in there anywhere? I don't know.
The scene where, not, from the testimony that she had, the medical examiner's office, the crime scene information, his injuries occurred right there. He's got pieces of her fragments of her SUV taillight on his clothing. He's got his own broken glass there. He's got head injuries. He's probably has maybe some chest injuries, and he's got arm injuries, all indicating that he was run over. If he was hit by punches, numerous punches and kicks and things like that, he would have had a lot more facial trauma than that. And the two black eyes. Black eyes can come from a lot of different things.
I wrote down his.
Wait. Dude, did you just fucking say that shit out loud?
That he was run over. If he was hit by punches, numerous punches and kicks and things like that, he would have had a lot more facial trauma than that. And the two black eyes. Black eyes can come from a lot.
Really? You can determine that. You can determine a specific beating. You can determine what a specific beating would look like without knowing or seeing how the beating took place, right? You could just determine that there would be more injuries than that from a beating. There would be more injuries if it was a beat. How do you know that? These are fact-driven people, folks. You could just determine, he would have a lot more. If he suffered from a beating, he would have more injuries. What do you know? I mean, do you happen to know how many times he was hit? Do you happen to know what he was hit with? Do you happen to know if they were open hand slaps, closed fists? Do you happen to know if he was kicked? How can you fucking sit there and determine that he would have more injuries than he had from a beating? Okay.
From a lot of different things.
I wrote down what his injuries were. Bloody abrasions on O'Keefe's right arm is what we're seeing right there. 2 black eyes, a cut above the right eye, a cut left side of nose, a 2-inch laceration in the back of his head, and multiple skull fractures, bleeding on the brain, and of course hypothermia that contributed to his death. So those are all the injuries. Now, Jennifer, from the perspective of the pathologist from the autopsy, how do they think, if he was hit by this SUV, where did it hit him?
Yeah. And the reason for that, Tom CPU, is because I actually sent most of you guys over there. So again, Bill, you're welcome.
Well, we haven't seen the reenactment, but the other injuries that we know he did suffer were actually some very significant internal injuries to the stomach and to the pancreas. So those were additional injuries, at least according to the court documents. And of course, we haven't seen the full autopsy. So a lot of it is sort of hidden from us, but it would make sense to me that his head or something very a bone would have had to hit that tail light to cause that fragmentation of that tail light.
Okay. Mike, one of the most important things in any homicide investigation, of course, is the interview of witnesses.
Okay.
And the witnesses,
but it wouldn't break his bone. Right? I mean, did she mention a particular broken bone? Because she's talking about court documents, right? She's sitting here talking about court documents. Did at any point did she mention a broken bone? Because, I mean, dude, I don't know what kind of milk John O'Keefe was drinking, but I got to get a hold of some of that shit to make my bones that strong that I'm going to shatter a piece of fucking plastic that thick from a taillight and not have a broken bone from it. She just fucking said out loud, well, it had to have been a bone on John O'Keefe's body that broke that taillight. What is he, fucking Superman? Are you kidding me with that? You just said that shit out loud in front of people. In front of a lot of people. Like, dude, lady. And you wonder why people fucking challenge your bullshit all over Twitter. Like, I mean, no wonder you're always blocking people. No wonder. Like, that's your logic. This is your expert, Bill. This is your expert panelist right here. And she just said that shit out loud. It must have been a bone on John O'Keefe's body that broke the taillight. Really? Okay. Okay.
Is run the gamut in this case. So let's start at the two bars that they went to. I believe it was C.F. McCarthy's
and Waterfall.
And the Waterfall.
Yeah.
So the first bar, C.F. McCarthy's, I think, which they were at earlier in the night, I think that Karen, according to the bartender, had 6 vodka tonics in a very short period of time at that location. And then they left at some point and went to the second bar. I don't know if she did have any drinks at the second bar. Some said she had anywhere from 6 to 9 drinks. I don't know if that's correct or not. Again, we don't have, as we say all the time on the show, we don't have access to the homicide case folder that will give us accurate information on the interviews. The interviews of the bartenders. Now, look, the bartenders not only, they're interviewed, they potentially could be plaintiffs they could be sued in a civil matter because you're not supposed to serve someone once they're intoxicated. And bartenders can actually get arrested for that. So, but they gave statements, and they gave statements as to, the times of play. And of course, that's backed up with video cameras to see when they actually left those bars. Now, all the other interviews, of course, you mentioned the people inside 34 Fairview, but also when they get to that scene, and even before that, there's emails that meet Karen Reed. One of them, I think, drove her car to the scene, and she immediately pointed out where John O'Keefe was when no one else could see him, and she ran over to him. And at that scene, she made what's called a spontaneous utterance, and that was, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
Yeah, Billy.
Why is that more important than some other type of utterance, Mike?
Well, Billy, a spontaneous utterance is always considered reliable under the law and always admissible in court, either to, exculpate someone or implicate someone in a crime. And someone suggesting, "Oh my God, I may have done something." And in this case here, I see 3 areas where around 5 o'clock in the morning, after she woke up sometime after like 4:30 in the morning, of the 29th, and she immediately called someone. She called a friend, and she stated, and this friend testified at the grand jury, "I wonder if he's dead. Maybe he got hit by a snowplow," which is kind of a strange thing to suggest to somebody when you're looking for your boyfriend. You just think maybe he fell asleep somewhere and you're really mad at him. Why would you suggest that he was dead and B, he was hit by an object?
I mean, because it's a number of possibilities. Could it be that you are maybe focusing on that one thing, and maybe she suggested a number of other possibilities? Maybe he's dead and got hit by a snowplow. Maybe he went off and fucked another woman. Maybe he decided to go fucking play night golf. But of course, it's convenient for you to just focus on the one thing. Maybe he got hit by a snowplow. Maybe she was saying that because she was, I don't know, she had a flair for the dramatics and wanted the comfort to hear somebody say, hey, don't go there. You don't want to go there. Because that happens. People say dramatic shit all the time when someone goes missing. I mean, this is unbelievable. And I love earlier, this dude is sitting there. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I love how earlier he says, all right, 1 second, guys, 1 second. But I got to keep him in the other room because I can't have him like freaking out over and knocking down my Christmas tree. And he's going to be mad at me because I'm kind of teasing him. I got him in the other room while I do this. Here he is. Oh, I know he's mad at me because I got him in the other room and I don't want him knocking over Christmas trees and whatnot in the meantime. And he's going to be sad that I put him back in the other room. Oh, I love you too, buddy. Oh, I love you too. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Okay. Sorry about that. Why? I love how he points out that somehow that he proves his own he proves against his own point that the bartender would cut somebody off if they were that drunk. He states that it was 6 drinks. Turtle Boy was in his chat correcting him, saying it was 4 drinks, and she was buying them for other people. Yes, that would explain. That would explain. So nobody's arguing that she was above the legal limit. Nobody's arguing that. But if you're going to state facts, state the facts.
Like a snowplow. That happened around 5 o'clock in the morning.
Southern Gal,
at around 5:30, when McCabe, who's and another girl helped her look for O'Keefe. She showed them apparently a broken taillight in the car, and apparently, according to the testimony of the grand jury, McCabe said that Reed said to her, "Could I have hit him?" And she showed him the taillight, thinking. And now she's sobering up at this point. Remember, it's been hours. She slept. She's awake now, and she's getting to the point where she's maybe realizing, "Holy smokes!" And then and after that, she runs and she finds the body when they drove by the house on Fairview. No one else apparently testified that they could actually.
Why would somebody as educated and intelligent as Karen Reed implicate herself like that? Right? Why would she implicate herself like that deliberately? Why would she say that, or even entertain the possibility that she hit him? Unless she was worried, genuinely worried about him and wondering what happened to him. She wouldn't just act like, "Oh my God, would I hit him?" No, she would. Why would she do that? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense.
Actually see a body or anything like lying in the snow, except Reed herself said that's him, and they couldn't even see that what she was pointing at. And then later on, when the officer came, first responding officer, he had to use the searchlight on the side of the car to even see where the ladies were. And then the third statement that she makes spontaneously, she was in shock. The fire department paramedics were there, and she said several times, "I hit him. I hit him." Now these are said spontaneously.
Yeah,
these are said without
with the response time of less than a minute. By the way, a response time from that first police officer in less than a minute. But that's not suspicious. No.
Preparation without speaking to an attorney. These are said spontaneously. And we believe that under the law, spontaneous, unguarded statements, those statements that you say before you're even thinking about what you're saying, are the most reliable because they give away your true character and truly what you're thinking. So these are damning bits of statements that she made on 3 occasions in that morning about what may have happened to him. It shows a consciousness of guilt. She's coming around to this. Now remember, this is before.
It's the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard.
She's coming around realizing, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And that's where I think is very damning evidence against her. Besides the taillight, as Jennifer said, I think this is
the taillight is not damning evidence at all.
Besides the information we're talking about in regards to interviewing witnesses, How about the physical evidence in the way of the broken tail light on the scene? And also, Jennifer, you mentioned the glass that he had in his hand. And there were also, I believe, microscopic particles of the glass and of the taillight in his shirt, according to the medical examiner's office. That's pretty powerful evidence. And for the people that say the police planted that there, they planted the microscopic evidence too. I mean, how are they that smart to do that if they were planting that? I would like to know that.
Right. I mean, the problem is it doesn't add up, Bill. And by the way, I want to say, Professor, what a great summation of all of those statements that were made. I couldn't have said it better. It's just, you did such a good job of setting out these spontaneous utterances to Carrie, to Jim McCabe, and then at the scene to the EMS worker. And but back to your question, Bill, regarding that tail light and the glass, it's just going to be very difficult. Now, what the individuals that are looking at this and saying, listen, there's corruption, there's issues, the individuals that were on scene, they did not wait for the evidence response team, which I believe they call their SRT, I think is the acronym they use. They did not wait for them, and they started collecting some evidence. They used some solo cups. They used a leaf blower. I think
because none of that's suspicious at all. None of that's suspicious at all. You know, that they just started collecting evidence before the people whose job it is to collect evidence showed up to collect evidence, which is obviously being preserved by the natural cold already there. Like, that's not suspicious at all. No.
Think to try to clear some snow, right? There's at least 6 inches of snow by this point. As you said, this is a blizzard. It's a whiteout situation. And those were mistakes, but those aren't insurmountable mistakes. Those are more mistakes of not handling the scene right, not being properly trained on that collection. They should have just waited for the ERT to come and properly process the scene. But to me,
which right there should be enough to acquit Karen Reed. Like right there, it should be enough. Right there, that should be enough for an audit in that town for how investigations are conducted.
They're not insurmountable in terms of their collection.
Absolutely not. Let me just, folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like real crime, true crime from a police perspective, then you're in the right place. And if you're not subscribed to us, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell. If you want to contribute to us, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels, and we also have a YouTube channel memberships with 5 different levels. We appreciate all our subs, our friends, and our fans on the show that have made this show a success over the past few years. Yeah, I think it's just so powerful when you also interview people that have no axe to grind in the case. For example, the EMS guy. He has nothing. He has no, you know, if people are claiming this is a police fix, he pulls up to the scene and hears these statements. No one told him what to say. No one's coaching him what to say. And that's one of the most important things. And invest the bartenders. All people that
I'm about to see my chat blow up right now. I know I'm about to see my chat blow up right now. Because isn't the EMS person related to somebody? Yes, a woman, not a guy, first of all. But wasn't that EMS person related to somebody? I could be wrong. Am I getting this wrong, people?
I'll say, you know, interview people that have no axe to grind. I think it's just so powerful when you also interview people that have no axe to grind in the case. For example, the EMS guy. He has nothing. He has no, you know, if people claim this is a police fix, he pulls up to the scene and hears these statements. No one told him what to say. No one's coaching him what to say. And that's one of the most important things. And that's the bartenders. All people that aren't involved in this case at all, that are witnesses. And that's what
her and is related or best friends, BFF, with the daughter. She's close friends with the McCabe's or Albert's daughter. No axe to grind, though, right? Okay. Do your homework, bro. Do your homework.
Comes together when there is a trial. You know, I see a lot of people, even in the chat, that just, you know, they're saying, oh, this is wrong and that is wrong. No, what you've been hearing is wrong. A lot of that, what goes out there as fact is not fact. It's innuendo and you know, put together with a slant. And you could say the same thing.
I love to hear this guy talk about facts when he hasn't even looked up one fucking fact.
The police evidence. However, the police are the people that are putting this case together. And there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that John O'Keefe ever entered that house. And there's even less evidence that anyone had a fight with him in that house. And there's no evidence that he was dumped out there by people that beat him up in the house. So this is all absolutely ridiculous. But it's taken on a life of its own.
And I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet. And I'm saying this as a challenge to Bill. Have Turtle Boy on your channel. Give him the same amount of time as you gave Twattendoffer here, enough time to prepare herself, but have Turtle Boy on your channel. Interview him, because I promise you he's going to come with receipts. Guaranteed. But he won't. That's why it's a challenge. He won't. Because he's already made some bold fucking statements here based on nothing. Based on nothing. Based on no facts, based on no evidence, based on no documentation, based on no witness statements, nothing. But he's drawn a conclusion, and he's going to have to eat crow once those receipts are shown to him. But I challenge you, Bill, to have Turtle Boy on your channel and show you live on your channel to your audience, the audience that he's going to help you build, at least for that night, because people in this chat and people from his chat, which are vastly more than the people in this chat, are going to show up to hear it. You have one chance to redeem yourself here. One chance. One chance. But you won't take it. I know you won't.
Like, just really, it's scary that it's taken on a life of its own. Let me play a little more of the attorney here. He's loading up. I thought he'd be ready to go, but apparently not.
You know, Billy, one of the things that makes a great defense attorney is offering people, and he's doing out in public.
And the victim looked like he had been punched out by Mike Tyson.
Reed's lawyer, David Yannetti, says his client is not responsible for O'Keefe's injuries.
I believe that the evidence shows that she didn't hit him. I've said in the past that his injuries are not consistent with being hit by a vehicle. And by the way, the Lexus taillight breaking, coming in contact with a human being and not a hard surface, makes no sense to me. I think it's going to make no sense to a jury.
If not Reed, who? Her lawyer says that there's a lot they still don't know.
This
I don't
is
want to hear
where,
that.
The homeowner, being a Boston police officer, was treated differently than he would have been if he were you or me.
A lot to talk about. Thankfully, Marie Pereira is still with me. All right, first of all, the public attention on this case, because it seems like you have two sides adamant. Number one, that Karen Reed killed her boyfriend, no question about it. And number two, no, she didn't. It's a cover-up.
See,
so, you know, this is all what's been out there.
That's what this is going to boil down to, because these assholes, when Karen Reed is acquitted, and he's already prepping for it by saying, oh, well, there's doubt. But they're going to chalk this all up to Karen Reed having these shyster, very good, silver-tongued lawyers. That's what they're going to chalk this up to. That's what this is going to boil down to. I know Petty Patty is breaking my heart. He doesn't like being in the other room, but I cannot. He's a puppy, and he wants to be all over the place, and he's very hyper, and I can't do both of these things right now. So I'm sorry. It breaks my heart too, and I'm looking forward to ending this so we can go back up to my bedroom, watch a movie, and relax until we go to sleep.
There's a cover-up that the police had an axe to grind in this case, that he was beaten to the point he was found outside the house, you know, in the house, that they planted the glass, they planted the broken taillight. I mean, where does that come from? I mean, that's, first of all, who made that up, that this has taken on a life of its own? Mike.
Yeah, Billy, I'm just looking at the video of the attorney, defense attorney, and all good defense attorneys, especially someone who's got the resources this gentleman has. This isn't a public defender's office, and, you know, the guy's got, you know, a stack of
that
cases,
too.
You know, 6 feet tall. He's doing a great job. It might be annoying when you see these sorts of things, but what do you?
Yep, that too. Healing time. That too. They will blame Turtle Boy for tainting the jury. He's already blaming Turtle Boy for tainting the jury. He blamed Turtle Boy for tainting the jury in the last live stream and hasn't even gone to trial yet. Jury selection hasn't even taken place, and he's already blaming Turtle Boy for tainting the jury. So we already know that's happening.
What he's doing is he's offering the public, and he's going to try to do this again during the trial, offering them an alternative scenario that they could believe. And if you just remember, instead of the prosecutor has to convince 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt on his theory, And here, the defense only really has to convince one person to get a hung jury. And so he's going to offer the scenario. It's going to be all a cover-up. They planted everything. You can't believe what you hear or what anybody said in the trial, what anybody previously said in the grand jury. The forensic evidence is really not conclusive whatsoever. It's very equivocal. You could read into it the idea that the SUV's taillight hit a human body, and that's not hard and wouldn't break. That's ridiculous. I wonder how much training he has had in accident reconstruction. And
none,
yeah.
obviously, because that was the stupidest statement I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing. He's doing a great job, and I think you get some people that it just appeals to them because it's an emotional appeal. And if you have any sort of distrust of the police, you may kind of go along with it to say, yeah, you can't trust any of the police. They're all in on it, and you make these broad general statements, and it just goes. It just has a life of its own. It's very difficult.
Absolutely. I want to play a little bit of court TV here. Again, it's loading up. Usually it just jumps right in, but for whatever reason tonight, here we go.
About 15 minutes later, they arrive at the Waterfall Bar and Grill, also in Canton. This is interesting because they're hanging out in Canton. He's a Boston police officer, but where all this is happening, it's not Boston, and it's not a case that was investigated by officers that work with John O'Keefe.
No, this isn't these are suburbs outside of it. But I do know that up in this community, the law enforcement group is not a huge, widespread thing. I mean, they have a lot of officers up there, but you know how small these, law enforcement can be, and everybody kind of does know everybody.
Now, it bothers me because I see this correspondent for the Daily Mail, and I like the Daily Mail. I don't invest too much. I don't consider them necessarily mainstream media, but they've got a lot of traction. And they tend to be unbiased. So I still have faith in the Daily Mail for reporting on this unbiasedly, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because I haven't really read anything that the Daily Mail said yet about this case, but my history with the Daily Mail and reading articles on cases that I've covered in the past, I don't have an issue with Daily Mail so far.
I can't wrap my head around the fact that a bunch of police officers were around and allowed someone who may or may not have been absolutely hammered get behind the wheel of a car. That still sticks out to me as being an issue. It also calls into question for me whether or not Karen Reed is a reliable narrator of her own story that night, assuming she was intoxicated.
Yeah. Like, how intoxicated was she? What does she remember? What does she not remember?
But except everyone else was intoxicated, because there are two explanations as to why I believe Nicole Albert there are two explanations that make sense as to why Nicole Albert slept through the all of the commotion happening on the front of her very property, 34 Fairview Road. Two explanations. One, she was absolutely fucking hammered drunk and slept through it, which would indicate that everyone else was also hammered. It's safe to assume that everyone else was hammered drunk. Or two, that Nicole Albert is a fucking liar. Those are the two explanations. Plain and simple. Because I don't believe for a second, I don't care how drunk you are, I don't believe for a second that there are going to be a shit ton of fucking of activity from ambulances, fire trucks, cops, Karen Reed screaming and yelling, and a dead cop in the front property, and you slept through it. Your property. I don't believe that shit for a second.
Again, the charges here are that she did it intentionally, that this was no accident. 12:14 a.m., John O'Keefe texts Jennifer McCabe, "Where to?" Jennifer replies with the address of her brother's house on Fairview Road, which is where this so-called after party is going to take place. 12:31 a.m., Jennifer McCabe texts John O'Keefe, "Hello," when he sees what she believes is Karen Reed's black SUV at the residence. This is interesting. So Jennifer McCabe, who's inside the house, I guess perhaps or apparently sees Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, at least the car, arrive in front of this home.
That's exactly right. And another text that comes through around this time from Jennifer McCabe is basically giving them directions as to where in the driveway to park. I think it's something along the lines of, pull behind my car, or pull behind this vehicle. So presumably the people in the house see that they're there in the driveway looking to park, and the people in the car presumably know that this is the house that they're going to because they were directed where to park. This moment in the timeline is where everything goes off the rails for me, Vinny, because the people in the house say that he never came inside to this party. They never saw him. And then you have Karen Reed saying he got out of the car, went in the house, never came back, and never answered her phone calls. I can't believe that no one went outside ever to see where he was. If you see me pull up, Vin, outside of your house and you're expecting me to come inside and all of a sudden I disappear and my car disappears, wouldn't you be concerned? And on the same token, if you and I are driving to a party and you get out of the car to go inside and you don't answer my phone calls or come back to the car, I'm going to get concerned. It didn't seem like anyone was concerned until tomorrow.
Till the next day. And so let's get to 12:40 a.m. Jennifer McCabe texts John O'Keefe, pull up behind me, and says she then saw the black SUV move from its initial place to the left side of the property. This is very specific.
So the left side of the property, I believe, is where the body was found, correct? So that also is putting her SUV at that location. Witnesses, I know we can't believe witnesses. We have to believe bloggers, I think. But there's some witnesses saying that the vehicle was there, and that's where his.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing, Bill. Yeah, you can believe witnesses. Fair enough. But not when all the witnesses are contradicting each other. Not when all of the witness statements contradict each other. If you looked at the witness statements, all it takes is one look. You'd see that they contradict each other. As I said, pick 2 witness statements out of a fucking hat and you'll see inconsistencies. Absolutely 100% you will see inconsistencies. So it's not about a blogger, because Turtle Boy had nothing to do with those witness statements. Those are actual witness statements taken the night of the day of the death taking place itself. I mean, there's or a couple of days later. But yeah, Bill, I agree with you. You can absolutely believe witnesses when they're consistent. But none of those witness statements are consistent. Agreed. Ryan Nagel is a key witness. I agree.
Where his body was found.
I bet you he's never even heard the name Ryan Nagel. I'll bet you Bill has never even fucking read the name Ryan Nagel. Have you, Bill? I doubt it.
People keep referring in the chat to this plow operator. Did he see anything? Or he said he saw nothing, and that's,
Yeah, Lucky Lofgren. So this is the situation, right? Everybody who left that home, and they left at varying times throughout the night. I think the first one to leave was the ATF agent who left at about 1:30, and then they all started kind of leaving a bit after that. And no one sees John O'Keefe laying at this far end of the left side of the house. And if you look at the picture, though, of that house, and I've posted some that are of that morning, it's a pretty big distance. I remember everyone else was up in that driveway on the far right side. But
no, this wasn't prepared at all. This wasn't prepared at all. I mean, he pulled that picture up on a live stream. This was not a pre-recorded video, people. This is a live stream that just took place just a couple of hours ago. And no, this wasn't prepped at all. Right. No, there was no agenda here. Give me a fucking break, Bill.
Didn't they say it was between the flagpole and the fire hydrant? That's where his body was laying?
It was actually in that yard about 12 feet,
ready.
they said, up into the grass, if you will. Now, there's a big question mark as to whether, when they said that, because it's in the court documents, whether they mean from their car, 12 feet, or from the curb. But it's up in there, but certainly nothing you would see. There's no lights. It's snowing. Listen, these guys have all been drinking all night. And it's freezing outside. I think it was like 18 degrees or something like that. It was cold.
Right.
And
So here she just admits that these guys have all been drinking all night. Right. That's what I've been saying this entire stream. These guys have all been drinking all night. But, we can't believe what Karen Reed said because she's been drinking. We have to believe the witnesses, even though they've all been drinking all night, right? We have to believe them. We can cherry pick who to believe here, right? We absolutely can do that. She just admitted that all of them have been drinking, but the witnesses, they're credible. even though none of their fucking statements are consistent with each other. And all you have to do is read them. But, you know, you can't believe what Karen Reed says because she'd been drinking, right? Incredible.
And I can tell you, most people in those conditions, they're just beelining to their car and going to get out of there. I don't think we can really detract from what the facts are with everybody drinking and everybody being intoxicated, how that lent itself to some of the actions and inactions we saw in the situation.
Yeah, I guess most of the people that watch my show they don't drink. They they work out and play tennis and stuff like that. I don't think that they're big drinkers. But I think the time frame to this is pretty important. And it seems like whatever happened to John O'Keefe happened between 12:20 and 12:40 hours, according to the witnesses. But then he's not found for a long time, which made hypothermia part of the reason, the cause of his death. Mike.
Yeah, Billy, he had they didn't find him for hours until Ms. Reed went back with her friends and saw through the snow, because snow was still falling, saw his body. Only one of the persons said in the grand jury that they may have seen something about between 1:30 and 2. They left the party and said that they saw something in the snow off to the side of the house, but they didn't know what it was. But of course, they're saying that after they know that that's where the body was found. But apparently, between the snow and the darkness and the distance, as Jennifer said, everybody's going. If you're looking at the house, everybody's going off to the right to get into the cars in the driveway, and nobody is looking to that corner in the left where it's dark, where between the flagpole and the fire hydrant. And so, yeah, that's exactly. So you can place the body right there at that time, and the hypothermia set in probably rather quickly. But unfortunately, with the bleeding on the brain that he suffered from skull fractures, even if they had gotten him to a hospital fairly quickly, and there was no real delay, like there was hours delay before anybody found him, that he may have also succumbed to his injuries anyway. And that's the sad part about it, because those are devastating fractures to his skull and bleeding into the brain.
Bill, I'm so sorry. I just forgot to really answer your question. When everybody left, in other words, they didn't see him. And Lucky Lofgren, who says he was driving the plow, right? This is a major blizzard. He was driving the snow plow. He said he specifically recalled sort of looking over there and not seeing anyone laying there. And he also says he recalls a vehicle being there during one of his passes. And the vehicle, interestingly, that he names is the same type of car that the brother of Brian Albert, who lives in the house, his brother's son was Colin Albert, that we talked about earlier, the 17-year-old that was there earlier before everybody arrived and left. But the problem is, he says the car was tan, and there.
Nope. Wrong. Colin was in the house.
The car is black, so it's really inconsequential. They want to make a lot of the fact that this vehicle was supposedly parked, according to Lucky, near the area where the body would be, as if to obstruct in some way what would have happened. But I think from being in law enforcement, we know you could never obstruct parking a car right here, a group of people dragging a dead body. And he was a big man, a bloody, dead, injured, dead body across the snow. Of course, there's no marks or anything like that. And then having the brilliant idea, rather than to take him somewhere and get rid of the body, they're going to throw him right on the front yard of the person that's they're accusing of murdering him. And they're going to use a little SUV to park in front that hopefully nobody will see anything. So Lucky says he didn't see a body. So I think a lot of people are saying, nobody saw the body because it wasn't there. But I think nobody saw the body. Probably Lucky didn't see it because he was concentrating on the road, concentrating on his plow. I looked up, you wouldn't believe how many.
Dude, the dude is like fucking 6 feet tall, dude. Like, he's on his back. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, get real. Get fucking real.
Mailboxes are hit by snowplow drivers. It's unbelievable.
It's everything seems like that's reasonable or unreasonable. But when you're out somewhere, it's 18 degrees out. It's a blinding snowstorm. Everyone's been drinking. People don't have 20/20 vision at that point. And as you said, because the snowplow driver didn't see a body, doesn't mean it wasn't there. He just did not see it. Maybe he didn't look in the right direction. Maybe, again, he was concentrating on what he was doing. But to use that as just to exclude 100%, that doesn't make any sense to me. Folks, if you're looking for a great attorney in the New York metropolitan area, then Joe Murray is your man. Joe's a retired NYPD police officer and an excellent defense attorney. You can reach Joe on his cell at 718-514-3855. Email him at joe@jmurray-law.com.
Money.
Attorney. But he's a huge supporter of the Police Off the Cuff podcast, and we appreciate everything he's done for us. you know, when we get back, when we cover this and we talk about this case or other homicide investigations, what it always comes back to is the evidence. And that's what is going to be presented to a jury. And I acknowledge in this case, there's a lot of doubt that the defense can raise. But when a reasonable jury is presented with evidence that backs up certain facts, then I think that
there is no evidence.
That is what gets convictions, and the doubt is what gets people off. Mike.
Yeah, Billy, people are going to, they're not attorneys. They're just average people on a jury. And hopefully you have.
The problem, though, is there's a lot more than just doubt here. There's plenty of doubt. Like there's enough doubt, of course, to acquit Karen Reed for sure. But there's also evidence that she didn't do it. There's solid evidence. These defense attorneys would not claim that there is solid evidence to exonerate this woman. They wouldn't say that. They would say, no, we're going to poke holes in this. We're going to poke holes in that. We're going to poke holes in that. They're not going to sit there and boldly go, we have evidence that proves that Karen Reed is innocent. They're not going to do that.
You have, a good jury foreman, and everybody's going to use their common sense and not go down rabbit holes and conspiracy theories. Because once you do that, the defense has done their job. They're going to get at least one person to say, I don't believe any of the police officers.
It's so funny how they keep saying that. They keep saying rabbit holes and conspiracy theories. I mean, have I seen a few conspiracy theories in this? Have I seen people theorize? Sure, I have. Yeah, no doubt about that. Not going to deny that. That has happened. But what I've seen are theories based on documentation, witness statements, evidence. Of course, we all speculate on these cases, but either you do it responsibly or you do it irresponsibly. And the responsible way is to theorize and speculate based on evidence. And there is plenty of evidence to speculate and theorize on. Of course, a lot of these are just theories, but there's more theorizing going on in jumping to the conclusion of Karen Reed's guilt than there is jumping to the conclusion of her innocence. There's more evidence to dictate her innocence than there is to dictate her guilt. That's why this whole town and the state of Massachusetts is divided on this. And I promise you, it's divided more on the side. Like the majority are people who believe that she's innocent. The majority. How do I know this? Because these people voted on an audit of the select board and the police department. Well, on the police department. On an audit on law enforcement. Absolutely. And they won. The majority won. That means that the majority of these people feel that there's something seriously wrong taking place in this case. But this is never mentioned.
They're all corrupt and that sort of thing. And, just without actually even realizing, well, you have officers from different departments, you have firefighters, you have EMS people, you have all these other people. Are they all in the conspiracy along with the other people who are spouses and wives and husbands of these people? They're all in the conspiracy? Or is it more likely than not, that this very simple thing occurred, that they had a fight? They were, she was doing a 3-point U-turn. Everyone was intoxicated. Whether she hit him negligently or she was just so angry, she didn't realize what she was doing. She blacked out. What is the most common sense thing?
Okay. See, this guy doesn't even know. So here he is, an expert saying, well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that she's guilty, right? Everything points to her being guilty of murder charges. You just said yourself that it could have been negligence. It could have been deliberate. I don't know. I don't know. So why the murder charges? Why the upgrade? Why the upgrade from manslaughter to murder? Why did that happen? Why aren't you asking those questions? And here you are on one side of your mouth in the same breath practically that we can't go by conspiracy theories and speculation and all of this sort of thing, right? Going down rabbit holes. But here you are so sure of this woman's guilt, and you're going, well, maybe if it was, I don't know if it was, negligence or if she deliberately hit him. I don't know. All that tells me is you haven't even fucking looked at the evidence, Professor. That's all it tells me. And Bill's a fucking clown for having these people up here and going based on what they're saying without taking any look at the evidence himself. Bill's a fucking clown for that.
That may have happened using your own common sense judgment about your experiences in life. And hopefully they'll get away from the emotional stuff. And
that's how people should look at this. Common sense judgment. At no point does he say, actually look at the evidence. And if he does, there's no mention of witness statements. There's no mention of court documents, except for Jennifer Coffendorfer at one point said the court document said this and this and this. But this guy, he doesn't mention it because they're non-existent to him. His whole thing is use your common sense. Use your common sense based on your own life experiences. I love that. I love that. Use your common sense based on, your own life experiences. And, yeah, if I did that, if I had just done that, I'd be on their side too, because I'm not going to just jump to the conclusion that a bunch of cops and lacrosse moms are jumping to a conclusion that there's a conspiracy to cover up a murder and frame an innocent woman. I would never, ever jump to that conclusion. I consider myself a rational, logical person. I would never just jump to that conclusion. I went into this totally like, oh, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then I looked at the evidence. And then I was like, well, then, this is disturbing. And then I looked at more evidence and went, this is really disturbing. And then I looked at more evidence and went, this woman didn't do it. I just don't see it. Doesn't make sense. A deep dive, Bill. The deep dive that you said you were going to do, which you clearly never did, Bill.
Will come to whatever decision they come to. Hopefully they'll do it in a very calm, common sense manner.
Absolutely. I think that, what this could come down to also was he ever in the house? And that's the defense. That's the defense, that he was in the house and he got beaten up in the house and they threw him out on the. That makes no sense whatsoever. But that is the defense.
How does that not make sense?
Jennifer.
Well, when you don't have an alibi, right? They can't say she was somewhere else. That's out the window. You have to point the finger in another direction as to who could have caused this death. And which is what the professor initially also discussed. And that's what they're doing. And I want to bring up a couple of things as an example, the EMS worker. The sleuths, online sleuths, have found a photo actually where one of the children, Brian Albert, is pictured years ago, by the way, with the EMS worker, because it's a small place. I think this was this big beach party, like India party. And interestingly enough, they're trying to say, oh, they were best friends. So that's why the EMS worker is painting this picture. So they're able to sort of try to take their narrative and find items that help support it, like in that case.
Absolutely. So look, one of the things I always like to mention in these cases,
I love how these three people have just spent this entire live stream contradicting themselves and each other. She just fucking stated it right there. Yeah. Like, yes, there's pictures of these people hanging out together. That's the dog in the fight right there, Bill, that you were saying earlier. The axe to grind that they supposedly didn't have. The axe to grind that the EMS worker supposedly didn't have. And at no point did Jennifer Coffendorfer correct Bill and say the EMS person was a woman. She didn't correct him. At no point. These people are not interested in facts. None. But yet, she's right there just trying to cover everything, going, oh, well, they're going to try to say that there's because there was a picture taken, blah, blah, blah. No, dude. You think that these people are just going to, out of nowhere, they're just going to jump to the conclusion that they were BFFs? Specifically between people? Like, no. through certain investigations, through certain digging, doing homework, simple homework, you're going to come to the conclusion that specifically who has a relationship with who. And you don't even know who that is because you're not paying attention. They're just going to say this and they're just going to say that. How about listen to what they're saying? How about listen? Yeah, she doesn't even know that the EMT was a female. She doesn't even know it. Because that's why she's not correcting him. Because she hasn't actually done any research on this case either.
What this case is about, and that's the victim. You know, that's John O'Keefe here in the picture with Karen Reed. By everyone's estimation, a great man, a great police officer, a pillar of his community, took in his sister's kids.
And here,
she died, and then her
again, I mentioned this yesterday. They always fucking do this. They always do this. This is how they win the crowd over. This is how they win the people over. This isn't about anything except John O'Keefe. We need to keep that in mind. He was a fallen police officer, and he had 2 kids that weren't even his own, and we need to keep that in mind. Yeah, we do. Everyone already is. All of the people who you're about to insult, keep that in mind every day. Every time they protest. What do you think drives them? What do you think drives people to risk arrest, false imprisonment, violation of their First Amendment rights? What do you think drives them to do that? Turtle Boy? No. It's because this man, there's no foreseeable place in their mind that this man is going to see justice unless the feds actually come up with a case against Morrissey's office. That's it. That is the only chance that John O'Keefe has at this point of getting justice, because there's no fucking dimension or universe where 12 people in Massachusetts are going to convict Karen Reed based on the lack of evidence that the prosecution has and the evidence that exonerates Karen Reed. There's no fucking way that you're going to get 12 people to convict this woman, even if she is guilty. There's no way. And these people are angry about that. They're angry about a cagged up, fucked up investigation. And they're pissed off that 9 of them, 10 of them, but 9 of them, 9 locals, have been wrongfully charged for simply expressing their First Amendment rights, exercising it. 9 innocent locals who just want to see the people who they rely on to keep them safe to do better. That's all they want. Do better. That's all they're saying. Do better. We're paying for this shit. Do better. And make no mistake, it is all in the name of John O'Keefe, and it is insulting that you would act like they're doing it to follow a blogger or a YouTuber. It's insulting to them.
Husband died 3 months later. He took in her kids. Now, her kids, which he was being the father to, now don't have a father once again, nor a mother. So this is a tragic case in a lot of ways. And I always want to mention the victim, because that's who we in law enforcement, we that work homicides, that's who we work for. We work for the victim. We work for the family, and we work for the victim. You know, I noticed there's a lot of people. There's a lot of toxic people in the chat tonight. And you know something? I was a New York City police sergeant for 27 years, Manhattan North Homicide Squad for 10, one of the most elite homicide units in the country. And I see some of these morons in the chat that can't find their ass with 2 hands.
Well, calm down, guys. I got you. These people looked at evidence. These people did their homework. These people who can't find their ass with 2 hands, as you just said, these people are the people of Canton. These people are the people of Massachusetts. These people are upset, and rightfully so. And they're pissed off, and they are being disrespectful in your chat because by ignoring all the facts, you have insulted them. And you haven't even directly insulted them yet. You indirectly insulted them with this entire stream. This entire stream, you've indirectly insulted them, but you had to top off your stream by directly insulting them. These people who actually came into your chat to support you, to support the idea that a former law enforcement investigator, someone with 27 years experience, can't even fucking read a fucking witness statement or two witness statements to see that they contradict each other. I mean, they're rightfully insulted by you. Law enforcement investigator for 27 years. And it's such a flex, too. Wow, gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Wimlerjabrink. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Let me take a look here. Mindy was gifted. Caroline Fourth. Ellum, Care Bear. Google is watching. True Crime with Eve. Rawa Pedlo Hermits, Kristen Terwilliger, Mom of Two Miracles, and Kit Kat. Congrats, guys, and thank you so much. Wim, I'm just going to call you Wim. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's hear this one more time.
That's who we in law enforcement, we that work homicides, that's who we work for. We work for the victim. We work for the family, and we work for the victim. You know, I noticed there's a lot of people. There's a lot of toxic people in the chat tonight. And, you know,
toxic.
I was a New York City police sergeant for 27 years, Manhattan North Homicide Squad 10.
So fucking act like it. Fucking act like it. Act like a police sergeant of 27 years working homicides by simply doing some simple research that this guy right here, who could maybe get a job at Piggly Wiggly, can actually do.
One of the most elite homicide units in the country. And I see some of these morons in the chat that can't find their ass with two hands, and they're making derogatory comments. Well, go back to your...
That's because you insulted them with this stream by having this asshat fucking Coffindoffer on your fucking panel for the sake of grabbing money.
Your job at Piggly Wiggly, you know, because it's really pathetic. You know, I try to keep my cool with this, but some of these people really...
What a fucking asshole.
They annoy me. You know, these online super sleuths, you know, and they keep mentioning the name of someone. I won't even mention the guy's name. So this is a...
Yeah, you won't even fucking mention the guy who actually did the research, who actually did the investigating, that actually uncovered the facts of this case. You're just and like what you're doing is just showing that you're angry at the fact that doubt has been created. And rightfully so. That's what happens when you uncover truth. When the truth happens to create doubt, that's not the investigator's fault. It's just the truth. It just exists. It is what it is. And when the truth has been presented, it is undeniable. And that's all Turtle Boy did. Now, is he abrasive in a lot of ways? Sure. Is he questionable in his methods as far as the way he talks to people and certain things? Sure. But can't deny the facts. Can't deny the facts. See, to me, I'm totally okay with someone being abrasive. Go figure. I'm totally okay with somebody being abrasive if they're spitting facts. I don't get offended by the way people talk. I get offended by lies. I get offended by an innocent woman being railroaded. I get offended by these things. I don't get offended by someone using colorful language when it comes to presenting facts. Grow up. These morons in my chat. You go back to your Piggly Wiggly job. They're just like, fuck you. What a prick.
This is a tragic case, whichever way you want to slice it, that it's very tragic. And unfortunately, I think Karen Reed did it, and she's going to go to trial and she'll either be found guilty or innocent. Initially, I thought that, this maybe
she'll be found innocent.
Manslaughter, but we don't know all the evidence. We don't know all the interaction that the district attorney has from text messages, from cell phone calls, from all that other evidence. And they knocked it up. They kicked it up to murder second degree. So potentially, if she is found guilty, she could get 25 years to life. And that's a lot different than a manslaughter. And manslaughter is potentially you could get convicted and not go to jail at all. Mike.
Yeah, Billy, I think initially people really did think this may have been a manslaughter case because there's many kinds of cases where people engage in DWI and maybe someone's injured or killed. But I think later on, as you get into it and start to realize some of the interactions within that couple and the fact that the reverse camera was working that night in the car, they know it was working, they tested it. They're now looking at that murder charge. I think if you are on that jury and you're a little queasy about saying she intentionally murdered him because there was a fight and she saw him in the back of the car and she just ran him over, if you're queasy about that, you may go for a manslaughter conviction. That may be a compromise, I think, verdict rather than complete acquittal or murder. I think a jury may settle on something like a manslaughter charge because you can say it was a tragic accident and she was reckless, but she didn't mean to kill him. And you may think that is justice. And that might be, a Solomonic split of the issue. That's where I'm thinking this is going to go.
Absolutely. Jennifer, your thoughts?
This should be
Yeah,
good.
How this evolved in terms of her drinking, this incident that happened, how initially it looked like they were going to seek just the manslaughter, and that her attorneys seemed to sort of go in that direction. And then, of course, she hired outside attorney. There was a lot of money raised, over $200,000, and now it's just taken on a life of its own in terms of this scenario, this alternate scenario. I just find the whole thing tragic for the O'Keefes and their family, and for the Alberts, the McCabe's, Higgins, the ATF agent, everyone, even the dog Chloe, everyone who has been accused of this horrible crime without any evidence. Those are the real victims here. And it's just, for me, that's the reason I get so strong to my advocacy is watching what it's done to those families.
Absolutely. Mike, I think we said all we really need to say. And your final thoughts.
Finally, just what Jennifer Coffendorfer said. I can't say it any better. There are people who are being smeared.
Of course you can.
Besides,
you're a fucking moron
Mr.
too.
Who's passed away and he's considered a great guy. All these other people are getting dragged into it. Their names are getting dragged through the mud. We need to remember that because it's pathetic what people will do in order to try to make up some lies to help themselves. So Jennifer said it right.
Absolutely. Jennifer, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know you've been on the show probably about 2 years ago. It definitely was a while ago, but it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And a lot of you new folks that came into to the chat tonight. I know there's a lot of people that are from Boston, people that have been following this case. We try not to get sensational on this show. We try to stay with the evidence. We try to stay with the truth. We try to keep it respectable. And sometimes I can go off a little bit, but we try to keep it respectable to everyone. So I want to thank all you folks, first time, second time coming into our chat, coming into our show. I want to appreciate you giving us your attention for an hour and 10 minutes. Any last words, Mike?
No, I just want everybody to pay attention to what's going to happen in the case and not succumb to these crazy conspiracy theories. That's it.
Absolutely. Jennifer, final words?
Just thank you for having me on, and just a shout out again to the victims in this case, and I really have confidence that the right outcome will occur.
Absolutely. And for everyone out there,
did she just fucking say a shout out to the victims in this case? Hey, shout out to the victims. Woo! Did she fucking really just say that? Wow.
Out there, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad from Police Off the Cuff. Have a great night. Be safe.
Good night.
Fuck off, dickhead. I'm so pissed, man. And I know some people are gonna fucking criticize me for insulting Bill the way that he did, but Bill insulted me first. I did nothing but show this man, his channel, his career respect. I did nothing. But then this guy hid me, blew me off, hid me from his channel, and then timed me out with my alt channel of basically the same name, not a troll channel. Never once disrespected this guy. Never once. Which tells me that anybody who speaks on something that is not along with the narrative that he's trying to spin on his channel gets hidden, gets booted out. This guy doesn't even appreciate his own viewers. The way he disrespected everyone in that chat, most of them were citizens of Massachusetts. Most of them. Yeah, dude. Mr. Turtle Boy split this town. No, he didn't. Turtle Boy didn't split anything. Turtle Boy did his job. Independently did his job, produced evidence that caused these people to ask questions. Questions you're refusing to even ask yourself. I mean, but you're an investigator of the elite homicide unit in New York for 27 years. But I mean, what does that mean to any of us here when you won't even begin to apply what we would expect from someone with that type of resume? Which is simply looking at court documents and witness statements that are readily available to the public. I mean, so congratulations, Bill. Congratulations. You managed to give a bad name to every single retired law enforcement officer with a YouTube channel. You managed to make them all look bad, thanks to your lack of any desire for facts or truth. Congratulations, my friend. People, I'm really sorry that I gave this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm really sorry that I directed you guys over to his channel thinking that he would actually do something that would somehow reflect his experience as a law enforcement investigator. I'm sorry that I directed you over there for you to just simply be insulted. And thank you, Leah Baker. Yes, I did have good intentions. I had faith in this man. I had faith in his abilities as an investigator to do basic, simple research on a case that he's claiming to cover. So, I apologize to you guys for the disappointment that you experienced here, and I'm sorry for putting you in a position to be insulted on a mass level the way that you were in his chat. You don't deserve that. I've managed to get to know some of you to a certain degree and see the way that you guys behave on a mass level. I've seen the way that you guys handle yourselves. I see how fact-driven you all are. And it just simply wasn't right the way that he spoke to you guys on his channel. And I take accountability for directing you over there to be subject to that. And for that, I do apologize. I can't say it won't happen again, honestly, because sometimes I have faith in people and sometimes those people let you down. and I am sorry about that. But I can't let every time I get disappointed to jade me, because I still have faith in law enforcement. I still have faith in some of the retired law enforcement investigators who are on this platform. And there are a couple that I would still absolutely vouch for. But this was incredibly disappointing. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I love you guys very much. Thank you for joining me. I know it's a late night, and I know a lot of you guys got to work tomorrow, and it means a lot to me that you guys took the time to come in here. And it means so much to me that you guys didn't go to bed on a bad note after being insulted the way that you were. And you came over here and allowed me to try to make it right. So that means so much to me. And I don't take that for granted for even 1 second. So thank you so much for that. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.